Beginning with a gentle golden wind and light rain, the master of ceremonies, with a single stroke, surprises the world. This video is purely for entertainment, and does not infringe on copyrights or laws. The rights to the novel and image belong to the original author. We do not claim ownership. Don't like waiting, and want to listen to this fanfic in full now? Subscribe to our Patreon, where you'll find the best fanfics. Chapter 426. Chen sect arrives, lures the personnel to attack. She did not hide it from Chen, and told him about her situation. She looked at Chen closely, wanting to know his reaction after hearing this. Chen looked calm. He had expected that the Hanyu sect would not take action. He just came to verify it, so he would not have too many emotional fluctuations. In fact, it is better for you not to participate. In this way, we can get more things from the ghost domain, or Chyanaya pavilion. Chen said calmly. He had already made a plan on the way here, mainly single kill. He did not believe that Huo Mufeng and his group would stay together all the time. As long as they find an opportunity to kill some people, or lead some people away, then they will have a chance to deal with Huo Mufeng. Of course, by then, the ghost domain can occupy the Chen sect alone. If the Hanyu sect competes with it, then there is no need to hold back. If they dare to pick peaches, they are already enemies and there is no need to hold back. Then I wish you, Master Su, can successfully take down Huomu Peak, but I can send 2 elders to help Master Su. Hanyu was not helping out of kindness, but as long as these 2 elders participated, she could watch the battle openly in the dark. The strength of these 2 elders is considered strong in the 9 difficulties of heaven and man. At that time, they can also help lead away 2 masters of the 9 difficulties of heaven and man, so it would be a waste if they were not used. Thank you, Miss Hanyu, but these 2 elders need to follow the arrangements, and I will tell them what to do when the time comes. Since Miss Hanyu has already informed us of the matter here, I will take my leave first. Chen did not stay here, and said goodbye after a slight salute. Is this Chen? Saint, this Chen has an aura, an extraordinary aura. After Chen left, Elder Yin in the room spoke. How can he be an ordinary person who can be nominated by the Qinglang Society and become the leader of the 9 northern counties? This is also the reason why I don't want to stand on the opposite side of him. Next, I may have to trouble the 2 elders. I really want to see how they deal with Huo Mufeng. Hanyu said. In fact, she felt a little helpless. She originally wanted to deal with Huo Mufeng and others with Chen, but she didn't expect that Zuzan suddenly left, disrupting her idea. She understood the intentions of Zuzan and others. She couldn't stop them, so she could only stay. Naturally, she couldn't tell Chen about this. At this time, another 9 figures appeared outside the gathering place. They were Huo Mufeng and others who came from the Chen sect. They looked at the gathering place in front of them. Master, do you want me to go and check it out first? Jinduai, who was next to Huo Mufeng, said. This is my Chen sect territory. We don't need to be afraid of anyone. Huo Mufeng's eyes were cold, and he stepped towards the gathering place. At this time, the disciples of the Chen sect outside the gathering place saw Huo Mufeng's excited expression and bowed. Take us forward, Jinduai said. The Chen sect disciples led them into the gathering place and headed towards the palace. Roadside, Chen hid his figure in the crowd and looked at the group of people moving forward. Among them, Huo Mufeng's aura was strong, giving people a strong sense of oppression. We still need to plan at night. Although Chen had a general idea, he still needed to plan. Master, I didn't sense any exploration along the way, and there was no aura of a strong man. Jinduai, who was following Huo Mufeng, transmitted the voice. He was sensing the surrounding situation along the way. There was nothing around that could make him feel a little pressure. Let's see the cause of death of Mufeng Gan and the Supreme Elder first. After speaking, he stepped into the palace. Inside the palace, 3 bodies were placed in it. The head of the man in black was broken, which was extremely ugly. The bodies of Mufeng Gan and Yuan Mugi were still intact. The green-robed old man Hu Mingneng flashed in front of Mufeng Gan, who was his disciple, and checked the wounds in Mufeng Gan's body. He died because of the energy entering his body. The person who attacked him is very powerful, and it is estimated that he is about to reach the stage of concentrating in the sea. Hu Mingneng frowned slightly when he said this. The one who attacked him was Li Chenzhao, the third dragon leader of the Qinglang Society. Elder Yuan also died in his hands. While Jinduai was speaking, he came to the side of Yuan Mugi and checked the cause of Yuan Mugi's death. He died because his heart meridian was shattered by a punch. The punch of Li Chenzhao is domineering and unparalleled. Jinduai's eyes were solemn. Finally, he came to the side of the man in black, looking at the miserable state of his body. Jinduai's face was a little angry. The elder died at the hands of Guan Qi. At that time, Guan Qi absorbed the golden plum bottle and entered a state of madness, with sword energy running rampant and violent. A man in black in the hall said, "Guan Qi is crazy. Has he absorbed the golden plum bottle many times?" Hearing this, Jinduai said to himself in a cold voice, "The golden plum bottle is a good treasure, but if you use it too much, you will be possessed. When you are possessed, you will be extremely violent and your moves will be quite brutal. Today, send the bodies of Master Mushan and others back to Xianshan sect. After sending the bodies away, you will follow me to the Ghost Realm. Today, we will take the people from the Ghost Realm to pay tribute to Master Mushan and others." Huo Mufeng's low voice sounded in the hall. Yes. Some Xianshan disciples in the hall began to collect the 3 bodies and quickly put them into 3 coffins. Outside the hall, the carriage was ready and quickly transported the coffins away. A group of Xianshan disciples escorted them. On the main street of the gathering place, inside a small pavilion, Su Chen looked at the convoy leaving. After thinking for a moment, he said to one of the 4 ghosts from Xiangxi standing behind him, "Go and inform Zihanayu, and ask the 2 elders beside her to take action on the departing convoy, and lure out some of the Shanren Jiunan masters who just followed Huo Mufeng." Yes. A green figure left quickly. Su Chen's eyes looked towards the palace. There are 2 purposes for letting Zihanayu take action. One is to lure away the 2 masters besides Zihanayu, so as to test whether there are other masters besides Zihanayu. The second is that, if Huo Mufeng sends someone forward, then his first sniper kill will take place, using powerful force to weaken the opponent's power first. Finally, concentrate on killing Huo Mufeng. Of course, this is just his idea, and all situations need to be changed according to the actual situation. Time passed little by little. Suddenly, a firework appeared 10 miles away from the gathering place. It was the firework of Xianshan sect asking for help. Looking at the firework, Su Chen's eyes were fixed on the palace not far away. He wanted to see how Huo Mufeng arranged it. Inside the palace, Huo Mufeng and his group walked out of the palace. Seeing the fireworks, a cold light flashed in his eyes. "Master, are they going to transfer some of us?" Jinduai said, while looking at the fireworks. "Master, I will go there in person. I want to see what tricks they are playing." The great elder Hu Mingneng beside Huo Mufeng spoke. He couldn't swallow that his disciples were killed. He needed to pay with the lives of people from the Qinglang Society, or Ghost Realm. Huo Mufeng nodded calmly. Hu Mingneng's strength was stronger than Yuan Mugi's before. He was a veteran Anshan Huahe realm expert. Even if he met Gu Santong, he could resist for a few minutes. In these few minutes, they could definitely arrive. Chapter 427, No Words Spoken, Fierce Fight. The Supreme Elder Hu Mingneng of the Xianshan sect and 2 other elders, then the only ones left in the palace are the Supreme Elder Lu Qingsheng, the Lord of Bishan Jinduai, and 3 elders of Shanren Jiunan. In this case, we can definitely deal with Huo Mufeng. Su Chen muttered as he watched 3 figures walk out of the palace. He didn't expect to lead 3 people away at once, including a Supreme Elder. Then go meet Huo Mufeng, the head of the Xianshan sect. Su Chen said. Behind him, one of the 4 ghosts from Xiangxi left quickly. At this time, inside the palace, the hall seemed very quiet. Huo Mufeng looked calm, while Jinduai frowned and looked worried. He always felt that something was wrong. Suddenly, Huo Mufeng's eyes suddenly opened, and the black-robed Supreme Elder Hu Qingsheng beside him looked outside the palace with a gleam of brilliance. I didn't expect it to really come. Jinduai said in his heart. Gu Santong, we didn't win the last time, but you're here again this time. A huge wave of aura erupted from Huo Mufeng's body. He was the first to come out, and the other 5 followed him instantly. On the square outside the hall, Gu Santong stood with his hands behind his back, and when Huo Mufeng appeared, he turned and passed by. Huo Mufeng, I didn't expect that we would meet again. In the last battle, you and I didn't win. I was thinking of getting along well with you, Xianshan sect, but I didn't expect you to chase me. Since you guys are chasing me, then I can only make you, Xianshan sect, disappear. Gu Santong looked at Huo Mufeng and said, Gu Santong, you are so arrogant that you actually want to destroy my Xianshan sect. Today, I just want to keep you here. Huo Mufeng's face was gloomy. While he was talking, a strong aura surged out of his body, forming a huge airflow that pressed towards Gu Santong. Elder Lu, let's join forces to kill Gu Santong. When Huo Mufeng's aura pressed towards Gu Santong, he transmitted his voice to the black-robed old man beside him. The black-robed old man's face did not move, but a blood-colored energy condensed in his palm, which continued to flow and gather together. He looked closely at Gu Santong. As long as Huo Mufeng made a move, he would find an opportunity to make a move. As long as he briefly interfered with Gu Santong for a period of time, he believed that Huo Mufeng would be able to find an opportunity to make a move. Divine power, Sky Sword. At this time, Huo Mufeng shouted in a low voice, and the energy flowing in his body turned into sword energy in an instant, and a long sword composed of sword energy appeared behind him. Around the long sword, the sword energy tore the space. Kill. Huo Mufeng shouted in a low voice, and the murderer saw a sword into the sky. The long sword composed of sword energy instantly slashed towards Gu Santong. He made a direct move without any nonsense. Seeing this, Gu Santong's body was shining with golden light, and the whole person was like cast in gold. He raised his hand and punched out. The golden fist blasted out directly, colliding with the long sword that was chopped down. Bang! The fist collided with the long sword, and the violent energy suddenly spread out quickly. The energy surged all over the sky, causing the people around to step back a few steps. At this time, the black-robed Supreme Elder Lu Qingsheng moved, and the key in his hand turned, turning into a huge ice cone, attacking behind Gu Santong. The ice cone brought a huge chill, which instantly cooled the temperature around. But at this time, a fist shadow suddenly appeared, and a fist hit the ice cone, and then the figure fell, stepped on the ground, and attacked Lu Qingsheng, with a domineering and fierce breath on his fist. Seeing this, Lu Qingsheng's eyes condensed, and the key in his body burst out. A hazy cold air appeared in his palm, and he slapped it out. It collided with the fist. Bang! The fist and palm collided with each other, making a dull sound, and then the two of them retreated a few steps. Li Chenzhao, the third leader of the Qinglang Society. You, the Qinglang Society, are going to get involved in the affairs of my Xianshan sect and Xian'ai Pavilion. Lu Qingsheng looked at Li Chenzhao with cold eyes, and his voice was very low. Taking money to do things for others, Xian'ai Pavilion has paid the price, so of course we will take action. Li Chenzhao looked at Lu Qingsheng and said. The energy in his arm turned as he spoke, and the frost covering his arm was instantly shattered. You, the Qinglang Society, are going to intervene, so show up. I know you still have strong people in the dark. When Li Chenzhao's voice fell, Jinduai said in a deep voice. The other party is calculating them so much, it must not be just these people. Huh. When his voice fell, 5 figures flew over from a distance. 5 figures, 5 powerful auras came to suppress, and Jinduai's expression changed. Qinglang Hu Yan Nanshan, Dingpeng, Liu Sheng Yijian, Zhu Yiren, Xian'ai Pavilion Guan Qi. When the 5 figures fell, Jinduai's eyes condensed. He didn't expect that the Qinglang Hu would have so many masters at once. Except for Guan Qi, all of them were people who had already appeared in the Qinglang Hu. You Qinglang Hu is fighting with us Xianshan sect in an all-round way. Jinduai looked at Yan Nanshan and others and said. The other party can afford the price, so of course we Qinglang Hu will come. Yan Nanshan said. At this time, it seemed that someone in the gathering place sensed what was happening in the palace and came over here. Looking at the situation outside the palace, the whispering sound spread like a tide. Xianshan sect, Ghost Domain, Qinglang Hu, this. Some people looked at this situation with horror in their eyes. The Chen sect has recently emerged, and many people have slowly recalled how powerful the Chen sect was back then. They also know about the ghost domain, which has recently fought with the Chen sect. But they didn't expect that the ghost domain would invite the Qinglang society to deal with the Chen sect. Looking at the current situation, the ghost domain and the Qinglang society have the upper hand in numbers. In that case, let me see the strength of your Qinglang society. When Jinduai spoke, a layer of blood light appeared on his body, and vaguely, his entire hair began to turn red like blood. A cold chill faintly emanated from his body, and he looked at Yan Nanshan and others with sharp eyes. I'll kill a few of you first, and see how you do. When Jinduai spoke, he raised his arm, and at this moment a thick layer of blood-colored energy appeared on his arm. This blood-colored energy exuded a fierce and murderous aura. Chen, who was watching the battle from a distance, looked at this scene, his eyes slightly condensed. This Jinduai is indeed a strong man whose Danshan has turned into a sea. His eyes flickered, and he was thinking whether he should stop this man himself. But when he saw Huo Mufeng, who was fighting with Gu Santong, his eyes slightly condensed. His target was Huo Mufeng. While he was thinking, Yan Nanshan and Ding Peng rushed out instantly, one in front and one behind. The magic knife appeared in Ding Peng's hand, and a sharp and terrifying aura emanated from the magic knife. Yan Nanshan's fist intent was condensed, and he was about to burst out with a fist intent that soared to the sky. Chapter 428, Cold Moon Sect, Bloodlord, the Violent Jinduai. Another place. Zihan Yu looked at the scene in front of her, her eyes flickering. She didn't expect that the Qinglang Society would send out so many people. 3 dragon heads plus 2 masters of the 9 difficulties of heaven and man. It can be said that the strongest fighting force of the Qinglang Society in the 9 counties of the north has appeared. Suddenly, a wave of power appeared around her. A blood-colored figure appeared behind her. It was the Bloodlord who had left earlier. Zihan Yu was stunned when she saw the Bloodlord appear. Bloodlord, why are you here? Zihan Yu asked in surprise. She didn't expect that the Bloodlord who had left earlier would appear at this time. According to reason, Bloodlord and his men should have been at the Chen sect now, or they should have already taken action against the Chen sect. You think we will take action against the Chen sect? That's not a wise choice. We Hanyu sect won't take action until the winner is decided here. Bloodlord looked at Zihan and said, then please let Bloodlord take action. If Huming, who was led away earlier, can come back, I'm afraid this side will be in a passive position. Zihan couldn't help but say, Huming then can't go back, don't worry, the outcome here is the end. Zuzan looked at the direction of the battle, his eyes were deep, and the blood-red light flashed in them. The battle here may not have much result. Gu Santong may not be able to kill Huo Mufeng. Zihan frowned and said, judging from the situation of the battle between Huo Mufeng and Gu Santong, although the two have not yet exerted their full strength, but judging from the traces of the battle, the two may not be able to tell the winner. When she looked at Gu Santong and Huo Mufeng, the aura fluctuations on the two people were getting bigger and bigger, but their figures followed the changes in the aura and went out of the gathering place. Looking at the two people who were far away from the fight, Zihan looked at Zuzan and found that Zuzan's eyes did not pay attention to Gu Santong and Huo Mufeng. She couldn't help but asked in confusion, Zuzan doesn't watch the fight between the two. Even if the two of them decide the winner, Gu Santong will not dare to kill Huo Mufeng, so there is no need to pay attention. Zuzan said, don't dare to kill Huo Mufeng? Zihan face showed surprise. She really didn't understand what Zuzan said. You will know this later. When Zuzan spoke, his eyes were fixed on Jinduai. Jinduai, your strength has increased a lot in the past 20 years, and you are about to concentrate. But it's a pity that you will die here today. I will send you off. Zuzan's voice fell, and his body moved slightly. He appeared here just for Jinduai. He wanted to attack Jinduai. As long as Jinduai died, Lu Qingsheng would be the only one left in the Xianshan sect who was at the Huahei level. Then if they joined forces to kill him, Lu Qingsheng would not be able to escape. Here, Chen sensed a strong aura, and looked in that direction. He saw the bloody figure appearing in front of Zihan Zuzan. He had learned from Li Chen's Hao before that the master of the Hanyu sect who appeared beside Zi Hanyu was Su Zun. Why would he appear at this time? And he was going to take action. Su Chen narrowed his eyes slightly. Previously, Zi Hanyu said that Su Zun and his men would not take action, but now he appeared and was ready to take action. As if sensing Su Chen's gaze, the Bloodlord glanced at Su Chen, and a pressure-like aura swept towards Su Chen. But when it was about to get close to Su Chen, 4 figures appeared in front of Su Chen, and the aura that pressed towards Su Chen disappeared, as if it had sunk into a quagmire. Seeing this, the Bloodlord's eyes condensed, but he did not look at Su Chen again. He rushed towards Jinduai, who was fighting with Yan Nanshan and Ingpeng. From the perspective of Realm, Jinduai's strength was higher than Yan Nanshan and Ingpeng. Blood surged on his body, like a demon god, with a cold face. When he attacked, blood surged, and the surrounding air formed ripples under the pressure of his blood. The palm of his hand that was probing was unusually sharp. Dingpeng's magic knife burst out with all its strength, and with Yan Nanshan's fist, he barely resisted Jinduai's attack. Jinduai, how are you? Just as Jinduai continued to suppress Dingpeng and the others, a deep voice sounded behind him. As the voice appeared, a hand slapped his back fiercely. The hand was blood red and looked like bright red bones, and it was extremely fast. Jinduai used a palm to repel Dingpeng and Yan Nanshan, stretched out his body, and slapped out a palm, colliding with the palm that attacked him. Jinduai fell down and took a step back. The figure of Su Zun who attacked landed and retreated several steps before stopping. The fight showed that Su Zun's strength was not as good as Jinduai. Su Zun, I didn't expect you to dare to appear in front of me. Today I will clean up the door for my dead master. Jinduai looked at Su Zun who appeared. His eyes were full of anger, and the whole person looked very violent. Hearing his address, Jinduai actually called Su Zun his junior brother. Su Zun used to be a disciple of Xianshan sect, and was Jinduai's junior brother. After saying that, he turned around, gave up dealing with Dingpeng and Yan Nanshan, stepped forward, and attacked Su Zun directly. Let's surround and kill him together, Su Zun said to Dingpeng and Yan Nanshan. After saying that, his eyes also revealed a fierce look. He suddenly stepped out, and the blood-colored energy around him erupted from his body like a volcano. Red blood coagulation hand. Su Zun shouted, and violent blood energy power erupted from his palm, and he slammed out with one palm. Let me see, junior brother, have you made any progress in the past 20 years? Jinduai's robes fluttered around him, and his hair, which had been infected with blood energy before, danced wildly. Blood energy condensed in his palm, and he punched out. Boom. The punch that Jinduai blasted out seemed to explode the free air between heaven and earth, making a rumbling sound. When he finally approached the palm that Su Zun slapped, a blood-colored python appeared. The python was ferocious, and rushed to collide with the bloody hand. Whoosh. At this time, Yan Nanshan and Dingpeng did not join forces to deal with Jinduai, but turned around and attacked after Liu Shengyijian and Zhu Yiren fought. 2 elders of the Xianshan sect were fighting with Zhu Yiren and Liu Shengyijian. They were restrained and could not react at all. One was hit by Yan Nanshan's fist, and the other was slashed by Dingpeng's magic knife. Swish, swish. Then the sword energy of Zhu Yiren and Liu Shengyijian pierced their bodies. Seeing this, Jinduai, who was fighting with Su Zun, roared, and the power of his fists burst out even more powerfully. Bang! The figure of Su Zun was knocked back and flew dozens of meters before he stopped. When he stopped, a trace of blood flowed from the corner of his mouth, and his eyes were filled with anger. He didn't expect that Dingpeng and Yan Nanshan didn't take action, but went to join others to kill people. Don't worry about this, now we have to deal with Huomu Peak. Looking at this scene, Su Chen whispered, take me there. Behind him, the 4 ghosts of Xiangxi appeared beside Su Chen, lifted Su Chen directly, and turned into a green light, and went towards Gu Santang and the others. Chapter 429, The Angry Bloodlord, Li Chen's Hao's Violent Fist. Su Chen came for Huo Mufeng this time, so he would definitely not let Huo Mufeng leave alive. Then Su Chen left, and went to the place where Gu Santang and Huo Mufeng fought. Could there be any changes there? Seeing Su Chen being taken away, Zi Hanyu frowned slightly. Of course, she was also very surprised. The four figures who took Chen away just now were too fast. No wonder he dared to come. It turns out that there are such masters protecting him. Zihan wanted to go over and see, but she didn't go. She wanted to keep an eye on this side. At this moment, Zuzan was in trouble. The people of Qingdanghu did not attack with Zuzan to surround and kill Jinduai. Instead, Zuzan let Jinduai face him alone. At this time, Jinduai transformed all his anger into an attack on Zuzan. The bloodlight in his hand was thick, and he kept attacking with force, not giving Zuzan a chance to breathe. The blood and ki fluctuations that burst out from the two people formed a violent collision with the air, and the sound made was like waves hitting rocks. Zuzan's face was extremely gloomy during the battle. He didn't expect that after he made a move, the people from the Qinglang society wouldn't make a move. His eyes were filled with murderous intent. "If I have a chance, I will definitely kill you," he screamed in his heart, but he could only deal with Jinduai with all his strength. Bang, bang, bang. Violent collisions. Blood-colored light continued to burst out. Zuzan's figure kept retreating, and there was still some gap between his strength and Jinduai. "Zuzan, you betrayed Qianshan sect and betrayed your master. I will kill you today." Jinduai's voice was cold, and his figure took steps continuously. His hands formed claws, and blood-colored energy condensed between his fingers, like the sharpest blade, attacking the vital parts of Zuzan's body. Facing Jinduai's fierce attack, Zuzan's body continued to turn red blood color to improve his defense. Relying on such defense, he barely supported under Jinduai's palm. On the other side, Li Chenhao's side seemed fierce, and the black-robed Supreme Elder Lu Qingsheng used a sword. The sword technique was Qianshan sect S. One word: frost sword. The sword came out like frost, fast and extremely cold. The two people's attacks were not earth-shattering, but they were extremely fierce. "Li Chenhao, I don't believe your punch can continue. I want to see how long you can keep your punch." The black-robed Lu Qingsheng dodged Li Chenhao's punch, turned around, and looked at Li Chenhao with a ferocious look in his eyes. He spoke, but Li Chenhao did not speak, and continued to punch. Under Li Chenhao's fist, Lu Qingsheng kept moving his body, and a bead of sweat appeared on his forehead unconsciously. Li Chenhao's punch was too strong. Even if he had good body skills, he did not dare to be careless. What's more, he wanted to find a flaw in Li Chenhao's punch and stab the most fierce blow. Before, he had a few head-on collisions with Li Chenhao, and felt the power of the other party's internal energy, plus the fierce punch of the other party. He consumed too much energy in the head-on collision with the other party, and a strong recoil force caused the power in his body to fluctuate. So he changed the way he attacked. He used the gap to draw his sword, which was filled with cold air, to affect Li Chenhao's actions. Seeing that Li Chenhao did not speak, he continued to punch. Lu Qingsheng's heart was slightly shaken. He dodged, and the sword light in his right hand flashed. At the same time, a vortex of cold air appeared in his left hand. Heavenly Mountain Ice Soul Palm. The sword light suddenly retracted, and his left hand slapped out. It collided with Li Chenhao's fist. The palm and fist collided, and a strong cold air rushed to Li Chenhao's fist. Bang! Lu Qingsheng's figure was shaken back, and his arm that slapped out kept shaking, but he looked at Li Chenhao with sharp eyes. At this moment, a layer of ice appeared on Li Chenhao's punching arm. Right at this time, Lu Qingsheng, who was shaken back, had a cold light flash in his eyes and a cruel smile on his face. He seized this opportunity. The long sword in his hand made a slight vibration, and his figure flew into the air and slashed with the sword. The sword light turned into white light, covering Li Chenhao. "The opportunity you're waiting for is also the opportunity I'm looking for." When he was in the air, bang! The fist force on Li Chenhao's arm surged, directly shattering the ice. He kicked the ground with his foot, and the ground burst at this moment. Countless gravel flew up and shot towards the falling sword light. Bang! 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 The sword light and the violent gravel collided violently. At this time, Li Chenhao bowed and stepped forward, and a huge airflow wave appeared around him. These airflows collided with the air, and the air could not bear the pressure, and made a huge explosion. The powerful sound stimulated Lu Qingsheng. His head was empty for a moment, and the collision between the sword light and the gravel made his eyes unable to see Li Chenhao's movements for a while. When he recovered briefly, he felt a terrifying force like death approaching. Li Chen's fist had arrived. At this moment, Lu Qingsheng's pupils dilated, and the hair on his body stood up. Not good. Under the fierce fist force, an extremely dangerous airflow spread throughout his body. The shadow of death instantly enveloped his heart. He reacted instinctively, pulling back his sword, trying to block Li Chen's punch. Boom. The sword was pulled back and collided with Li Chen's fist. He immediately felt the huge power coming from the sword. The sword hit his chest. The powerful fist force entered his body through the sword. Bang. The whole person was knocked back by the punch. Puff. A mouthful of blood spurted out. You lose. The loser will die. Li Chen's voice appeared in his ears. Then Li Chen's figure appeared in his pupils. Li Chen's fist appeared again. This time, Li Chen's fist was not so subtle, but a kind of release. A huge fist appeared on his fist. The fist force not only covered Lu Qingsheng's body, but also suppressed Lu Qingsheng's mind. Lu Qingsheng's mind was injured by a blow. He could no longer resist Li Chen's fist. The fist fell. It hit his chest directly, and the powerful force rushed directly into his internal organs through the skin. The meridians, heart meridians, and internal organs in his body were all shattered by the huge fist force. There was no change in Lu Qingsheng's appearance, and he looked at Li Chenhao in horror. In addition to horror, there was also a hint of fear and disbelief. Li Chenhao was the one who wanted to concentrate in the sea, and he was the same, but he died under Li Chenhao's fist. Plop. Lu Qingsheng's body fell to the ground. Lu Qingsheng fell to the ground, which shocked the people watching from a distance, and they looked at Li Chenhao in horror. Even if you and I are at the same level, you will die under my fist. Li Chenhao's voice was overbearing. Such a scene made Jin Duai, who was fighting with Zhu Zun, tremble suddenly. The speed of attacking Zhu Zun was a little slower. At this moment, Zhu Zun also sensed the changes on Li Chenhao's side, and was also shocked, resulting in missing the opportunity to counter-attack Jin Duai. Chapter 430, Encirclement and Killing, Taizan Tang Experience Card. Jin Duai turned around and fled. Even if he killed Zhu Zun today, he might not be able to escape, so he thought about turning around and escaping. You can't escape. Zhu Zun saw this, stepped on the ground, and a long sword in his hand. A blood-colored light flowed out of his palm, and he took a step forward, and the energy in his palm became a sword, and he chopped it out, and the powerful blood-colored sword light whistled towards Jin Duai's back. This is a chance to kill Jin Duai, and Zhu Zun will not let it go. Jin Duai's escape was blocked, and a cold light flashed in his eyes. He turned around, and raised his palm, took a step forward, and dodged the sword attack from Zhu Zun. Then he turned around, and appeared in front of Zhu Zun violently, attacking Zhu Zun with a palm. Zhu Zun didn't expect Jin Duai to turn around. He just wanted to stop Jin Duai before, but now the whistling palm was too close, so he could only fight back with a palm. Bang! The palms of the two collided with each other. Then a wave of power that made him unbelievable swept towards his body like a raging wave in the sea. Bang! The whole body was shaken and flew backwards, and blood spurted out of his mouth. Damn it. After the bloody Zhu Zun landed, he turned around and left. He didn't stop at all. Jin Duai wanted to chase him, but at this time, the magic knife Ding Peng made a move. He stepped on the ground, turned his body, and quickly appeared in front of the opponent. The magic knife in his hand turned, and the white knife light shone on Jin Duai. At this time, Yan Nanshan punched, and the strong fist burst out towards Jin Duai. The fist rushed to Jin Duai's chest with a storm of blood. Jin Duai turned around, his palm was bloody and sharp, and he grabbed Ding Peng's magic knife, and then punched out, and the violent fist force blocked Yan Nanshan's fist. Jin Duai's realm was 1 point higher than Ding Peng and Yan Nanshan, and the two did not cause too much pressure on each other. At this time, a dazzling sword light, like a golden storm, appeared in front of the opponent. The one who attacked was Zhu Yiren. After the battle at Qinglang Temple, Zhu Yiren used the elixir to enter the 9 difficulties of heaven and man. Zhu Yiren's swordsmanship was sharp and terrifying, forcing Jin Duai to retreat. One strike and retreat. Ding Peng turned the magic knife in his hand and slashed it again. The knife light made the air vibrate, as if a black light appeared in the white light. The fierce magic knife blocked the line of sight, whistling like a ghost crying and howling, and struck down with one strike. Swish. Jindui's ki was directly torn apart by this knife, and a knife mark appeared on his chest, and blood spurted out. Nanshan Divine Fist. At this time, Yan Nanshan attacked, and his fists were filled with violent ki and continuously bombarded the opponent's place where the knife mark appeared. Bang, bang. Jindui's body was knocked back, and the knife mark on his chest became larger, and blood spurted out. Jindui himself felt that he was hit by a 1,000-pound hammer, and the whole person was knocked back several steps, and a trace of blood flowed from the corner of his mouth. There was a look of disbelief in his eyes, but the attack did not stop. Zhu Yiren, who had been dodged before, stepped forward again, roared, and attacked again with the long sword in his hand like thunder. Fast, sharp, cut everything. Jindui, who was trapped in the three-way siege, was suddenly in an extremely disadvantageous position. The magic knife came out again. Jindui felt the knife light flowing in his mind, and his expression and body became slow for a while, causing Yan Nanshan's fist and Zhu Yiren's sword light to hit his chest. The destructive force rushed into his body in an instant, making his energy cut off in an instant. At this moment, the magic knife in Ding Peng's hand turned. Danger. At this moment, Jindui felt a huge fear sweeping his heart. If he couldn't avoid it again, he would definitely die. You. He roared and all his strength burst out, and endless energy surged in his body. But at this moment, his strength had been weakened. He could only see the sword light, the knife light, and the fist shadow covering him. Finally, the ki outside his throat was torn apart by the knife light. He felt a pain in his throat, and blood gushed out of his throat. He covered his throat. He looked at the three people in front of him with disbelief. He didn't expect it to be like this. He was born 20 years later, but he was killed here, before he became famous again. The thought flashed through his mind, and he fell directly to the ground. On the other side, the successive deaths made the master of Shanren Jiunan from the Xianshan sector was fighting Guan Qi panic. He was pierced into the body by Guan Qi's invisible sword energy and died. The battle ended here. What a strong force. If they, King Lang Hu, assassinate, it will probably be stronger than this. Zihaniu, who was watching the battle, looked at this situation with horror in his heart. I wonder how Zuzan is injured? In fact, many people were only paying attention to this battle, but they didn't notice Liu Shengyejian's departure. When Zuzan fled, Liu Shengyejian followed him and left. They pitied Zuzan. Zuzan must have held a grudge, so Liu Sheng would not let Zuzan leave. After all, Zuzan was injured, and it was normal for him to die from the serious injury. In another place, Huo Mufeng and Gu Santang were facing each other at the foot of a snowy mountain. Humph, aren't you afraid that all the people from the Qinglang society will die? Huo Mufeng looked at Gu Santang. The reason why he dared to fight Gu Santang far away from the gathering place was mainly because they, Qianshan sect, had two strong men whose Danshan turned into sea, and the Qinglang society only had Li Chenzhao. He believed that Qianshan sect could get rid of the people from Qinglang society. Are you so confident that the people from Qianshan sect can get rid of Qinglang society instead of being solved by the people from Qinglang society? Gu Santang said. Do you think that's possible? Even if you transfer a supreme elder away, the combat power of Qianshan sect is stronger than that of Qinglang society. Huo Mufeng said coldly. Then Master Huo was doomed to be disappointed. At this moment, a green light appeared, and the four ghosts from Xiangxi appeared with Su Chen not far from the two of them. Humph, you have no right to speak here. Huo Mufeng looked at Su Chen with disdain in his cold eyes. Su Chen's strength was like an ant in his eyes. As for the four ghosts from Xiangxi beside him, the power on their bodies was fluctuating. Although the body movement that just appeared was very strange, no matter how strong the body movement was, without strength, it would be easily killed by him. Young Master Su is here. Is the matter over there over? Gu Santang stepped forward and saluted slightly to Su Chen. The situation is settled. There should be no one left alive. Pavilion Master Gu should believe in the strength of our Qinglang society. The matter over there is over. Now I'm here to help Pavilion Master Gu deal with Huo Mufeng. When Su Chen spoke, he looked at Huo Mufeng. Hearing Su Chen's words, Huo Mufeng laughed up to the sky. He didn't expect that Su Chen would come to help Gu Santong kill him. This is a big joke. But before his laughter fell, Su Chen directly activated the Taizan Tang experience card, and a terrifying wave of power burst out from his body. Taizan Tang's strength is not inferior to Yi. With Taizan Tang's strength and Gu Santong's cooperation, Huo Mufeng can definitely be killed. Chapter 431, Battle of Huomu Peak, God Rise. Seeing the fluctuation of Su Chen's aura, Huo Mufeng's expression changed, and there was disbelief in his eyes. Su Chen's previous realm was about the difficulty of heaven and man, but the power he burst out now was not inferior to his power at all. How is this possible? How can you have such power at your age? He stared at Su Chen tightly, his face full of disbelief. Su Chen didn't say anything about this. He stepped forward, and the aura around him enveloped Huo Mufeng, and a blazing light shone in his eyes. As a warrior, Su Chen naturally hoped that he could have powerful power. Although Taizan Tang's power was not his, it was now perfectly integrated with his body. With this power, he certainly wanted to compete with a strong man like Huo Mufeng. Sensing Su Chen's fighting spirit, Huo Mufeng didn't say anything. The opponent's power was no less than his, so he didn't dare to be careless. What's more, there was Gu Santong on the other side. Although he didn't care so much about his life, he didn't want his realm to be knocked down and rebuilt again. People don't have so much time. Huo Mufeng looked at Su Chen, and an extremely strong breath slowly spread out from his body. This breath was cold and heavy like a mountain. There was a faint charm on him. Although he couldn't see it, Su Chen could sense it. Huo Mufeng's spirit was a breath like an iceberg. Boom. Under Su Chen's gaze, in an instant, the breath surged like wind and clouds, and a cold air surged under the cold Xianshan mountain. Then Huo Mufeng took action, stepped on the ground, and rushed towards Su Chen like a meteor, and slapped his palm. A cold air appeared in his palm, bursting out, invading the heart. But Su Chen, who was opposite him, had a calm face. He had an ice unicorn arm on his left hand, and all the cold air flowing in the air had been absorbed by his arm. What's more, Su Chen also had the Xianshan fist, but he didn't show it. This was his trump card, and he had to save it for a special time. He turned his palm behind his back, and the rain blade appeared in his hand. Although Su Chen used Taizan Tang's experience card, he did not use Taizan Tang's martial arts, but only borrowed Taizan Tang's power to display his own martial arts. Of course, Taizan Tang's divine style may be used in the end. After integrating Taizan Tang's experience card, a piece of information appeared in Su Chen's mind. It was about the divine style. That is, the strongest burst of power of the sea concentrated strongman. There is a feeling of extreme sublimation. Of course, there is no need to burst now. As soon as Su Chen's rain blade came out, his figure turned into a residual image, dodging Huo Mufeng's attack, and the rain blade in his hand slashed at the opponent with an unusually sharp edge. The blade light burst out, and it was unusually sharp. Huo Mufeng, who made the move, turned his palm and slapped it on the blade light. The violent cold air directly shattered the blade light. Some ability. After a test of a blow, Huo Mufeng moved his feet and his figure turned into a rainbow light and rushed out. Then he stretched out his right hand, and at this moment his palm became a claw, and a strong cold air flowed over his claw. Xianshan shattering dragon claw. A low shout came from Huo Mufeng's mouth, and then Su Chen saw Huo Mufeng's hand, turned into a dragon claw, and attacked Su Chen with a strong offensive. This Huo Mufeng has fought with me for many moves, and his moves are so sharp. The power in his body is not ordinary. Gu Santong, who was watching the battle not far away, thought to himself. Just now, he was going to join forces with Su Chen to kill Huo Mufeng, but Su Chen wanted to feel the strength of the sea concentrated strongman alone, so he didn't let him do it. Faced with such a fierce attack, Su Chen did not retreat at all. A fiery color burst out of his eyes. The Xiao knife in his hand turned and disappeared, and a terrifying black energy appeared around him. Demon splitting Vajra. He shouted in a low voice, and a fierce aura gushed out of his body. Under this fierce aura, his whole body began to grow larger, a bit like a demon ape surging. Boom. Then he raised his fist, and collided with the falling dragon claw. There was a crisp sound, and the falling icy dragon claw had cracks under Su Chen's violent fist. Bang! Finally, the dragon claw shattered. Seeing this, Huo Mufeng was stunned. While he was stunned, Su Chen stepped on his feet. His body flew into the air, his hands together, and then the whole person was like a diamond, smashing Huo Mufeng fiercely. Sensing this violent force, Huo Mufeng, who was stunned, came back to his senses, turned around, and avoided Su Chen's smash. But the ground, where he was standing, before was smashed into a huge deep pit by Su Chen. Countless pieces of rubble shot out like bullets. They shot at Huo Mufeng, and were directly shattered by his energy. Seeing this, Huo Mufeng's expression changed. Previously, Gu Santang's body was golden, but from the perspective of strength, he was not as violent as Su Chen. After missing the attack, Su Chen continued to sweep towards Huo Mufeng. He punched out with his fist, and his fist was like a heavy mountain. Clang clang. Huo Mufeng was forced to fight with Su Chen head on. The violent Kijin spread out like a wave at the intersection of the two people. It collided with the air, squeezing out all the surrounding air, forming a vacuum zone. The two fought very quickly. In just a few breaths, they fought for more than 10 rounds. In this hard fight, both of them used their Kijin to the extreme. Huo Mufeng's Kijin was full of cold air, and it froze the cold air as soon as he attacked. But Su Chen's Kijin was violent and directly shattered the cold air. If Huo Mufeng could not freeze Su Chen instantly, then his cold air would not have much advantage under Su Chen's fierceness. Of course, if he froze Su Chen would use the ice Kirin arm to absorb the cold air. Huo Mufeng looked very ugly at this moment. This Su Chen who appeared was more difficult to deal with than Gu Santang. The aura was too violent. Although Gu Santang was also strong, his fighting style was not as brutal as Su Chen's. The more he fought, the more fierce he became, and his aura was constantly rising. If this continued, he might be suppressed. When Gu Santang took the opportunity to attack him, he would definitely be seriously injured. After being seriously injured, the opponent might not stop, and might knock him down. If his realm was knocked down, no one in the Xianshan sect would be able to stop them. A trace of solemnity flashed across his eyes. He had to find a way to get out of this predicament. Then a gleam of light flashed in his eyes. After Su Chen's punch shocked him back 2 steps, his figure soared into the air, and at the same moment he exerted all the coldness in his body to the extreme. Heavenly Crystal Ice Soul Palm. Huo Mufeng shouted in a low voice, and slapped out with one palm. The violent cold air swept out like a raging tide, freezing all the places it passed. After one palm, a white figure appeared behind Huo Mufeng. As soon as this figure appeared, the coldness of heaven and earth rushed towards that figure crazily. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 432, Iron Blood Divine Style. Joining forces to kill Yang Gu. Huo Mufeng didn't want to delay any longer. He directly used the divine style he obtained by concentrating his mind in the sea. When he entered the 9 difficulties of heaven and man, the white figure behind him that was absorbing the cold air was the god he condensed. The leakage of the divine shadow meant that Huo Mufeng was about to take the step of breaking the void. It was impossible to leak the divine shadow when he had just reached the state of concentrating his mind in the sea. Su Chen punched out, concentrating all his strength and blood, and collided with the palm that was coming. When he smashed the opponent's palm, his body was shocked and retreated several steps. At this moment, all the surrounding airflows went towards Huo Mufeng. He looked up and saw the white shadow, and a trace of solemnity appeared in his eyes. I didn't expect this Huo Mufeng to use his divine style now. Su Chen didn't dare to underestimate the opponent's move. 1000 degrees of frost. Freeze the world. At this time, Huo Mufeng shouted in a low voice, raised his palm, and the white shadow behind him also raised it, and the shadow's palm merged with his palm. Then he slapped Su Chen with one palm. Endless wind and frost appeared in the world. A layer of ice appeared on the ground, spreading quickly towards Su Chen. Looking at the cold current sweeping over, the ice unicorn on Su Chen's arm began to tremble a little, wanting to absorb the cold current that was surging out. But Su Chen wanted to feel the attack of the strong man who was concentrating his mind in the sea of 9 difficulties of heaven and man. He also wanted to feel the power of the Iron Blood divine style on Tai Zhan Tang. Tai Zhan Tang was born in the Iron Blood flag gate. He practiced the Great Flag Wind and Cloud Palm, the 13 styles of Iron Blood, the Wedding Dress divine art, and the power of the Night Emperor. Perhaps Tai Zhan Tang is a combination of the Night Emperor and Yan Nanshan. But Tai Zhan Tang, who was born in the Iron Blood flag gate, inherited the will of the Iron Blood flag gate, so his divine power is iron and blood. Su Chen was using the Vajra-splitting demon at this moment. He was violent, and with Tai Zhan Tang's Iron Blood divine style, he wanted to see how strong the power could be. Boom. When Su Chen used the Tai Zhan Tang divine style, a strong bloody aura filled the world, and boundless blood surged in the world. Crazy iron-blooded energy spread out along with the murderous energy. It moved the heaven and earth. Boom. He punched out. His fist collided with the palm that slapped him. Bang. At the moment of collision, amazing power fluctuations exploded between heaven and earth, the ground burst, and the air was squeezed, forming traces. The two people who were fighting were shocked and retreated again and again. The cold air and blood collided, forming a force of equal strength. Su Chen did not have the upper hand. Huo Mufeng was also a warrior of the same era, and his strength would not be bad. Su Chen suppressed the surging blood in his body, while Huo Mufeng was also suppressing the boiling blood in his body. Who on earth was Su Chen? How could he have the strength to fight with himself with all his strength? He hadn't appeared in 20 years. How could the changes between heaven and earth be so great, and many strong people emerged? Huo Mufeng couldn't imagine it. Looking at the disappearing cold air and the blood, he felt that he had miscalculated this time, and felt like retreating. At this time, a golden figure appeared behind him and punched out. A brilliant golden light burst out from his fist. It was Gu Santang who was watching the fight. He made a move. Just now, when Su Chen and Huo Mufeng fought, strange phenomena appeared in the world. I guess many people will come, so now is the time to make a move. The figure rushed out with a brilliant golden fist with a strong ki wave, which surged out of the fist like a tide. Under such a strong attack, Huo Mufeng could only fight back. Huo Mufeng's ki in his body circulated rapidly. The cold air circulated rapidly, and his palm showed an ice jade color. He punched out, and touched Gu Santang's fist. There was a suction force on Gu Santang's fist that could absorb people's strength. He had fought with Gu Santang several times, and knew the characteristics of Gu Santang's skills, so he paid special attention when he made a move. Boom. The two fists collided. This time, they did not separate at the first touch. Gu Santang increased the ki in his body, and the brilliant golden power surged out desperately. Huo Mufeng was shocked and retreated continuously. Huo Mufeng had no choice but to resist desperately. At this time, Su Chen's figure also shot out directly, and his left palm formed a claw and grabbed Huo Mufeng directly. He wanted to seal Huo Mufeng's figure. The fierce energy was emitted from Su Chen's hand, filled with a terrible power fluctuation. Huo Mufeng was shocked. The remaining hand stretched out, and a cold air formed a palm force and hit Su Chen's claw. At this time, Su Chen's palm immediately changed and collided with the opponent's palm. At the moment of collision, Su Chen activated the Ice Kirin arm. The cold air that filled his palm rushed into his arm in an instant. It was out of control at all. Huo Mufeng felt this power being sucked in, and his eyes changed drastically. He didn't expect Su Chen to absorb the ice energy in his body. Even Gu Santang didn't dare to absorb it like this. He looked at Su Chen, but found that his cold air did not flow into his body. Bang! At this time, the sleeves on Su Chen's arms burst open in an instant, and the killer arm appeared in front of Huo Mufeng. The killer arm emitted a brilliant light under the nourishment of the cold air. Huo Mufeng's expression changed drastically when he saw the killer arm. He quickly controlled the cold air on his arm. But at this moment, Gu Santang's ki force suddenly increased again, making him unable to control the ki force in his body at all. He could only watch the ki force he had cultivated for decades rushing towards Su Chen's arm. As time passed, Huo Mufeng's ki force, which was originally like the ocean in his body, gradually began to disappear, and his own realm began to fall. Huo Mufeng roared. But no one paid attention to his roar. When Huo Mufeng's ocean-like ki force disappeared, his aura dropped greatly, his face turned pale, and his eyes became dim. At this moment, Su Chen pulled back his arm. He raised his finger and pointed it at Huo Mufeng's brow. Huo Mufeng, who looked gloomy, was shocked when he saw this finger, and he felt a strong murderous intent. This Su Chen wanted to kill him. "You want to kill me? You want to kill me? How dare you kill me?" he growled. In the growl, a goo worm mark appeared between his eyebrows. Seeing the goo worm mark appear, Su Chen frowned, but his fingers did not stop, and directly pierced through the mark, piercing through Huo Mufeng's eyebrows. "I came here to kill you. How can I let you live?" Su Chen said coldly. "You can't live, even if you kill me. Even Emperor Zhao doesn't dare to kill me, ha." Huo Mufeng laughed wildly, and his body fell straight to the ground. When Huo Mufeng fell to the ground, a white goo worm rushed out of his body and rushed towards Su Chen. A layer of frost appeared in Su Chen's palm and grabbed the white goo worm. The white goo worm penetrated the ice layer and continued to come towards Su Chen. Discover the yin yang goo worm, yang goo. Trigger the reward of 3 orange lottery cards, which can be controlled by the primary slave beast talisman. At this time, a message appeared in Su Chen's mind. Seeing this, Su Chen's other hand produced a primary beast slave talisman, which was directly attached to the Yanggu. The beast slave talisman instantly merged into the Yanggu's body. Suddenly, Su Chen had the same feeling as when he controlled the ice silkworm Gu on Mu Kingsu's body before. However, at this moment, the experience card of Taizan Tang disappeared from Su Chen's body, and his body felt weak. "Let's go." Although he didn't know what this thing was, he shouldn't stay here for long. The 4 ghosts of Xiangxi appeared beside him, took Su Chen and Gu Santang away quickly. Chapter 433 Huo Mufeng's death, Hanai cult's response. The old man from Xianshan sect was standing in front of the cave, watching the strange phenomenon of heaven and earth disappearing. Blood color, different from the strange phenomenon, produced by the previous person. The old man muttered. Puff. Suddenly, a mouthful of blood spurted out of his mouth, and his expression changed drastically. Something happened to Huo Mufeng. Before he could wipe the blood from the corner of his mouth, the old man's body turned into a ray of light and rushed to the outside of Xianshan sect. Not only this old man, but also some other people were rushing to the place where the strange phenomenon of heaven and earth disappeared just now. When they arrived, many people looked at Huo Mufeng lying on the ground with horror. Huo Mufeng, the head of Xianshan sect, was killed. Some of them couldn't believe what they saw, but now Huo Mufeng was indeed lying on the ground, and he had no breath. The world outside the Great Wall has changed. These people all knew that Huo Mufeng had fought with Gu Santang. Now that Huo Mufeng was dead, the murderer must be Gu Santang. I'm afraid that the ghost domain has the final say outside the Great Wall. Some people muttered in a low voice. Over at the gathering place, the Xianshan sect suffered heavy losses, and Huo Mufeng was also killed, which foreshadowed the demise of the Xianshan sect. In the crowd, Zihanayu's beautiful eyes were filled with horror. Others thought that Huo Mufeng's death was related to Gu Santong, but she knew that this matter might be related to the Qinglang Society, because Su Chen came here. Once Huo Mufeng died, the Xianshan sect was leaderless, and it was our chance for the Hanayu sect to take action. But if we take action now, I'm afraid we will have a conflict with the ghost domain. Zihanayu's mind turned. The Qinglang Society was invited by the ghost domain, and they should still have a relationship for the time being. If we take action here, the ghost domain will probably ask the Qinglang Society to take action. She saw the strength of the Qinglang Society today, and it was quite strong. Once they take action, they might suffer heavy losses. They need to make a long-term plan. She stepped back, and she had to find the Blood Venerable to discuss things. After she left, many people also left one after another. They just came to take a look, and didn't want to bring trouble upon themselves. In a gathering place, in an underground secret room, Zihanayu's figure appeared. Elder Yin and his men who was sent out by him earlier, had returned, and there was also an extra man in black robes. At this time, the three people looked solemn. Seeing Zihaniu's figure appear, "Have you seen the Blood Venerable?" the black-robed man said. "Blood Venerable, Lin Huzan, didn't the Blood Venerable return?" Hearing this news, Zihaniu was stunned. "No, we tried to contact him, but couldn't get in touch with him." "What happened to the saint girl at the Xianshan sex residence?" Lin Huzan asked in a deep voice. Zihaniu then told them all the situation at that time. The Blood Venerable's injury should not be too serious at that time. How could we not contact him? The black-robed man frowned and said, "Did something happen to the Blood Venerable?" Elder Yin said, "Under normal circumstances, the injured Blood Venerable should gather here with them. One is to help him treat his injuries, and the other is to discuss how to deal with the Xianshan sect. Now that the Blood Venerable has not been found, there may be an accident. Investigate with all your strength, and you must find the Blood Venerable. Even if he is dead, you must find his body." The black-robed man said in a deep voice, "I have already arranged for someone to find him, and I believe there will be news soon." Zihaniu said. When she finished speaking, a man in black walked in from outside the secret room. "Greetings, Saint. The Blood Venerable is dead, and his body has been turned into thick water. I can't find out who killed him, but from the place where the Blood Venerable was killed, there is no sign of fighting. It should be a single blow." The man bowed and said. Hearing this news, there was silence in the secret room. Many people's faces became gloomy. "Do you think it was someone from the Qinglang Society who did it?" the black-robed man said. "If the Qinglang Society kills someone, there is no need to destroy the body. They are a killer organization. Killing is normal. So I have some doubts. It may be someone from Xian'ai Pavilion who did it." Only Gu Santong and Guan Qi from Xian'ai Pavilion took action this time, and no one else showed up. I don't believe that they only had 2 people in such a battle. Someone didn't show up. They saw that Zuzan was injured and attacked Zuzan. They were afraid that we would find any clues, so they destroyed the body. And now that Huo Mufeng in the outer frontier has been killed, Xianshan sect has suffered heavy losses. The only opponent left in Ghost Domain is our Hanyu sect. Killing Zuzan will also weaken our strength. Zihaniu analyzed. "Just now you said Huo Mufeng was killed." The black-robed man looked at Zihaniu and asked. "Yes, Huo Mufeng was killed. I just saw the body. Someone pierced his forehead with a finger." Zihaniu said. "How is this possible? How could anyone dare to kill Huo Mufeng?" Hearing Zihaniu's words, the black-robed man's expression changed, revealing a look of complete disbelief. According to the situation, it should be Gu Santong who joined forces with the people from the Qinglang Society to kill Huo Mufeng. "I don't know, Lin Huzan. You just said that no one dared to kill Huo Mufeng. What does this mean?" Zihaniu couldn't help but look at the black-robed man, wanting to know what he meant. Because this sentence was also said by Zuzan before. Now that Huo Mufeng is dead, it doesn't matter if I tell you. There is a poisonous insect in Huo Mufeng's body, named Yanggu. Where there is yang in the world, there must be yin. Outside the Shanman, there is a big man who has the Yanggu. This is also the reason why Emperor Zhao only knocked down Huo Mufeng's strength a little after defeating him, instead of directly abolishing his cultivation or killing him. As for who that adult is, I don't know either. The leader just told us so, and told us that, even if we see Huo Mufeng seriously injured, we must not take Huo Mufeng's life. The black-robed man said in a deep voice. "How dare the people from Xian'ai Pavilion kill Huo Mufeng?" Elder Yin couldn't help but ask. "Who knows?" However, the news of Huo Mufeng's death and the death of Zuzan should be passed to the leader immediately, to see how the leader arranges it. The black-robed man said immediately. Another gathering place near here. Chen and his team did not go to Ghost Domain immediately, but chose to gather here, in a courtyard. Chen and Gu Santong stepped into the courtyard. In the courtyard, Li Chenzhao and his team were waiting for Chen. "Master, now that Huo Mufeng of Xianshan sect has been killed, the North and South Mountain Masters and the Supreme Elders are all dead. It is our chance to take down Xianshan sect. We can't let Hanyu sect, get there first. Dugu Wudi said excitedly. Although he did not participate in the battle, he is the master of Ghost Domain. Once he occupies Ghost Domain and Xianshan sect, then the master will definitely send experts to sit here. He will be the person in charge outside the Great Wall. Chapter 434, Zhu Washi, the 4 secret agents, Yan Kuang to experience card. After hearing Dugu Wuda's words, Su Chen pondered. Now is indeed the opportunity to attack Xianshan sect. Gu Santong, you will lead this matter. Lead people to Xianshan sect and occupy the Xianshan sect stronghold. Su Chen ordered. Okay. Then I'll trouble you. Gu Santong clasped his fists towards Li Chintao and the others. The group stood up and left quickly. Su Chen sat alone in the courtyard, looking at the 3 orange lottery cards that appeared on the disc in his mind. These were the 3 orange lottery cards that were triggered when the Yanggu appeared on Huo Mufeng when he killed him. Draw directly. Obtained the character card Iron-Hearted God Marquis Zhu Wuxi. Obtained the 4 secret agents of Xiandi Zuan Huang under Iron-Hearted God Marquis. And obtained 1 Yan Kuang to experience card this. Su Chen looked at this lottery with a shocked expression. First, he directly drew Zhu Wuxi and his 4 secret agents from Hulong Villa. In addition, he drew the Yan Kuang to experience card. Zhu Washi's strength should be similar to Gu Santong. It may be higher or lower. After all, in the world's number 1, Zhu Washi absorbed the skills of so many people, and his strength is extremely strong. As for Yan Kuang too, according to reason, he is the first person in Wenshu, the father of Li Chenzhao, and his strength must be absolutely strong. I have this experience card, which is definitely a big profit. Check the strength of several people. Zhu Washi's strength has reached the stage of concentrating in the sea, just like Gu Santong, and there is also a sign of broken void behind him. As for the 4 secret agents of Xiandi Zuan Huang, Du and Xianai and Gui Heiyadeo have reached the 9 difficulties of heaven and man, but have not reached the stage of Dunshan turning into sea. The little golden Mancheng Shifa's strength is in the 6 difficulties of heaven and man, and his strength is a little low. The lowest is Shangguan Heitang, whose strength is only 1 difficulty of heaven and man. As for Yan Kuang too, Su Chen's breathing was a little rapid. The definition given here was actually in the 9 difficulties of heaven and man, the 3rd stage of the broken void level. Broken void, if I use it, will I break through the sky gate and leave directly? Su Chen thought so in his heart. Previously, he knew from some techniques that people who can break the void should be able to directly break the gate of heaven. So Su Chen had such an idea. Zhu Washi and Gu Santong are all the best in the world. If they are placed in the East Pavilion, Zhu Washi can become the Deputy Pavilion Master. Su Chen thought so. Thinking of this, Su Chen suddenly wondered whether to let the people of Qinglang Club leave. Let the East Pavilion of Xianaya Pavilion occupy Xianshan sect. As soon as he had such an idea, Su Chen immediately summoned the 5 of them. Zhu Washi is more majestic than Gu Santong, more like the main pavilion master, but who made Zhu Washi come out late, so he can only be the deputy pavilion master. Du and Xiana looked calm, and Gui Heiyadeo exuded a terrifying sword aura. Shangguan Heitang, a beautiful woman with a secluded temperament. As for Cheng Shifei, he has a gangster temperament. Meet the master. The 5 people saluted at the same time. This is my token. You can go to Xianshan sect to join Gu Santong and replace the members of Qinglang Society. From now on, you are the deputy leader of the East Pavilion of Xianaya Pavilion. I believe you can understand the situation here, so I won't tell you more. Su Chen said to Zhu Washi. Zhu Washi has enough manpower, and Su Chen believes that they can quickly know the situation here. Yes. The 5 people left quickly. They still need to understand the situation here, so they didn't stay too long with Su Chen. According to their speed, they should be able to catch up with Gu Santong and his friends who just left. This trip to the frontier is very smooth. Su Chen said softly. After doing this, Su Chen also walked out of the courtyard. He also wanted to visit the market here. It's early spring now. The market is also starting to become lively. Some merchants from the interior are trading with the gathered people. Su Chen walked into a restaurant. He ordered some wine and food. He sat by the window and ate alone, listening to the conversation of these people. Do you know? The Chen sect is going to be finished. A big man with a beard on his face said. How can the Chen sect be finished? Where did you hear this news from? A man next to him said. Really, did you see the strange phenomenon between heaven and earth just now? That was the scene of the Chen sect's head, Huo Mufeng, fighting with someone. Didn't there also a strange phenomenon last time? Headmaster Huo was fine. Last time he was fine, but this time he is in trouble. Headmaster Huo was killed, and his body is still there? The bearded man who spoke earlier said. Not only that, the Chen sect's Grand Elder and Mountain Master were also killed by the Qinglang Society. The Qinglang Society is the Qinglang Society that occupies the 9 counties in the north. They don't have any grudges with the Chen sect. Hearing this, someone couldn't help but say, I heard that the people from the ghost domain paid a lot to ask the Qinglang Society to do it. This Qinglang Society is really strong. Another person said, I didn't expect the news to spread here. Chen couldn't help but say in his heart when he heard the conversation of several people while eating and drinking. Master Su, you left so quickly. If it weren't for the fact that there are so many people in my Hanyu sect, I really wouldn't be able to find you, Master Su. At this time, a purple figure appeared in front of Chen. It was Hanyu. At this time, Hanyu was wearing a bamboo hat. When she sat down, a fragrance came to her face. Saint girl, looking for me? Chen frowned slightly when he saw Hanyu appear. This Hanyu found him quickly. I want to know who killed Huo Mufeng. Hanyu sent a voice message to Chen. Don't say it, you don't know. I know you went there and must have seen the situation at that time. But why should I tell you? Chen said softly. If you tell me, I will tell you a secret. The secret of the goo worm on Huo Mufeng's body. I think when Huo Mufeng died, there must be a goo worm. Hanyu looked at Chen with a smile on her face. Goo worm. At this moment, this yang goo was enslaved by him and was still on him. According to reason, if there is yin, there must be yang. If there is yang goo, there must be yin goo. Yang goo is in Huo Mufeng, so yin goo must be in a woman. And from what Huo Mufeng said, the origin of that woman should not be simple. You are talking about the yang goo in Huo Mufeng and the yin goo in another person. If that's it, you don't need to say anything more. When Chen spoke, he looked up at Hanyu. He wanted to see Hanyu's reaction. You know all this? Hanyu was stunned when she heard Chen's words. But she was sure that Chen had seen the yang goo, and he knew who killed Huo Mufeng. Then you must have seen who killed Huo Mufeng. Sell this information to me, and you name the price. Hanyu looked at Chen and said, we Qinglang Society value credibility. I won't tell you. Also, I can tell you that the people from Chyanaya Pavilion have already gone to Chen sect. In addition to Pavilion Master Gu, Chyanaya Pavilion also has a Deputy Pavilion Master and 4 elders. When Zhu Wuxi dealt with Chen sect, he would definitely take action, and his identity would definitely be known. Chen told the other party now, because he wanted to get a favor from Hanyu. By the way, take a look at the plan of Hanyu sect. Chapter 435 Chyanaya Pavilion, Dongnang 6E Pavilion. You mean that a Deputy Pavilion Master and 4 elders have come to the East Pavilion of Chyanaya Pavilion? Hanyu was stunned when she heard Chen's words. Master Su knows Chyanaya Pavilion very well. I wonder if you can tell me briefly. Hanyu wanted to get some information about Chyanaya Pavilion from Chen. We Qinglang Society do things based on equality. Saint, you pay the corresponding reward and I can give you some information. Chen looked at Hanyu and said. It was impossible for Hanyu to get it for free. She had to make the other party pay something. Master Su, Chyanaya Pavilion has come into being, and their subsequent information will also appear one after another. However, we may have a conflict with Chyanaya Pavilion, so this news is very important. So I don't know what price Master Su wants. While speaking, Hanyu poured herself a glass of wine. The wine was mellow and had a taste of osmanthus. It was not a strong wine produced outside the Great Wall. Her eyes also looked at Chen. Although she and Su Chen had not met for a while, the immature feeling of Su Chen had disappeared, replaced by a more profound temperament. This temperament was vaguely domineering and authoritative. So she asked Su Chen to make the request. In her heart, she couldn't help but think of the first time she met Su Chen. He was not a playboy, but just an ordinary person. She didn't like him at all. But later, something happened. She felt that Su Chen had some ability and wanted to pull Su Chen into the Hanyu sect. However, he became the young leader of the Qinglang Society and took charge of the martial arts world of the 9 northern counties, becoming the leader of the martial arts world of the 9 northern counties. My news is worth about 10,000 taels. Su Chen put down the wine glass in his hand and said. Although the two mouths were moving, outsiders could not hear their voices. Hanyu took out a silver note from her arms. This is a Tongbao silver note that can be exchanged in money houses across the country in the Great Zhao dynasty. Put it on the table and push it in front of Su Chen. Su Chen put the silver note away and put it in his arms. The Xian'ai Pavilion is divided into 4 major pavilions, namely the Southeast, Northwest and Northeast pavilions. Each pavilion has a main pavilion master and 2 deputy pavilion masters, and under them are elders, venerables, and 10 direction envoys. Among them, the strength of the East Pavilion is the strongest. The North Pavilion is the weakest. The East Pavilion is mainly for combat power. The South Pavilion has the strongest financial resources. The West Pavilion is the most mysterious, and the North Pavilion is mainly for intelligence information. In addition to the East Pavilion Master Gu Santong, there is also the Deputy Pavilion Master Zhu Washi and 4 elders. Among them, 2 elders are strong in the 9 difficulties of heaven and man. You met Guan Qi before. He is an elder of the East Pavilion, and Du Gu Wudi is just one of the 10 direction envoys. It is rumored that Zhu Washi has been competing with Gu Santong for the position of Pavilion Master. Although he is a Deputy Pavilion Master, his strength and means are not worse than Gu Santong. Su Chen said. It is not good for Xian'ai Pavilion to be too mysterious. It is also a good choice to have some of them appear one after another. Of course, this is also some of Su Chen's plans for Xian'ai Pavilion. This Xian'ai Pavilion is so strong, but this Xian'ai Pavilion is so scattered. How can they get along with each other? Although the East Pavilion has the strongest combat power, the other 3 pavilions are also strong. In this case, the 4 pavilions in Xian'ai Pavilion will definitely fight each other. Is this even necessary? These 4 pavilions are all in Xian'ai Pavilion, and Xian'ai Pavilion certainly has a Xian'ai Pavilion Master. But this Pavilion Master is very mysterious. Don't ask me about this person. I don't know about this Xian'ai Pavilion Master. Maybe our Qinglang Club's Dragon Head has seen him. While Su Chen was strengthening Xian'ai Pavilion, he also strengthened their Qinglang Club. Chief Pavilion Master, Dragon Head. Hanayu's face changed at this time. He didn't expect that in addition to the 4 Pavilion Masters of Xian'ai Pavilion, there was another Xian'ai Pavilion Master. This Xian'ai Pavilion Master must be extraordinary, otherwise how could he lead the 4 Pavilion Masters below? As for the Dragon Head of Qinglang Club, Hanayu didn't ask. She didn't believe that Su Chen would tell her the information about the Qinglang Society. Thank you, Master Su. I won't stay here anymore. I'm going to report this matter. Otherwise, the Hanayu sect might have a conflict with the Xian'ai Pavilion. Hanayu stood up, saluted Su Chen, and then turned to leave. A very smart woman. She knows what to ask and what not to ask. Looking at Hanayu who was leaving, Su Chen thought to himself, and then poured himself a glass of wine and drank alone. Su Chen believed that after he said this, the Hanayu sect should not have a conflict with Gu Santong and his team. I told you that the other party is strong. If they still want to clash with the Xian'ai Pavilion, then it can only be said that the Hanayu sect is strong enough, or that the Xian'an sect has something they must get. It depends on how you choose. Su Chen said in his heart. One day later, a piece of news spread outside the Great Wall. Xian'ai Pavilion occupies Xian'an sect, and the era of Xian'an sect has come to an end. A new overlord has arrived in the outer frontier. Inside the room, Su Chen's face showed joy when he heard the news. Congratulations to the host's subordinates for taking down the great sect Chen sect in the outer frontier. Trigger the reward and get 2 orange lottery cards. I didn't expect this to trigger a reward. But Gu Santong and his men occupied Chen sect. I have to check some of the classics of the Chen sect. In this way, I can trigger more rewards. Su Chen thought to himself. But Zihanyu was really intimidated by me and didn't take action. He really knows the times. Su Chen praised. If Hanyu sect took action, he believed that Gu Santong and his men would not take down Chen sect so easily. After a simple tidying up, Su Chen put on his hat and left the inn. When he left the gathering place, his face changed into that of an ordinary warrior, and he headed towards Chen sect. At this time, in another place, Zihanyu and Elder Lin were in a private room in a restaurant. The information Su Chen gave you is correct. The deputy leader of the East Pavilion, Zhu Wuxi, who appeared, is no less powerful than Gu Santong. And among the 4 people following him, 2 are very powerful. Although none of them have Danshan Huahei, they are very powerful. Even if I talk to him, I'm afraid I might be killed if I'm not careful. Elder Lin said in a deep voice. But if we fail this mission, I'm afraid the headmaster will be in trouble. Zihanyu said in a deep voice. After getting the news from Su Chen, she discussed with Elder Lin about giving up the attack on the Chen sect. But they didn't take action, resulting in the failure of the mission. Don't worry about this matter. Lord Chu Kuang has already reported to the headquarters. Elder Lin said. Lord Chu Kuang is here too. Zihanyu was startled when she heard Elder Lin mention Lord Chu Kuang. Saintess, you don't think that the church will send us to take down the Chen sect, do you? Yesterday, a strong man appeared in the Chen sect. The strong man's realm fell, but he was also in the sea of concentration. Gu Santong and Zhu Wuxi joined forces to kill the old man. Elder Lin said. But Lord Chu Kuang also said that the Shianaya Pavilion killed the old man and Huo Mufeng and caused big trouble. Let us not contact the Shianaya Pavilion and stay away from them. Elder Lin said in a deep voice. Elder Lin, do you know who is behind Huo Mufeng? Zihanyu really wanted to know this. Lord Chu Kuang didn't say it, and I also asked around at the time. But Lord Chu Kuang never mentioned it. Elder Lin shook his head and said. Chapter 436, Shangguan Jinhong, Mirengfu, conspire to help the money gang. In the capital, in a courtyard, Mirengfu, wearing a luxurious robe, was standing in the courtyard. He was waiting for someone. Since he joined the 12th prince, Mirengfu has been doing his best to serve the 12th prince. Now he has gained enough trust. He came here to meet Shangguan Jinhong, who was lurking in the money gang. Everything in the world is running, and often it is inseparable from money. Although the 12th prince has obtained some support from forces, he still lacks a lot in terms of financial resources. So Mirengfu suggested that the 12th prince contact the money gang and find a way to take down the money gang. The second gang leader Jin Yuting is now in power in the money gang. Shangguan Jinhong and Jing Wuming have become the guardians beside Jin Yuting. Of course, the main reason why Shangguan Jinhong and others can become the guardians of Jin Yuting so quickly is that Golden Wind and Rain Tower provided enough information about Jin Yuting. Only by being good at using everything can you get to the top as soon as possible. What kind of person is Shangguan Jinhong? He has an extraordinary grasp of the world and people's hearts. Creak. The courtyard door was opened. Shangguan Jinhong, dressed in a tight suit, walked in. At this time, Shangguan Jinhong's face had changed. There was a murderous aura on his body, and the arrogance and domineering in his eyes disappeared. Shangguan Jinhong and Jing Wuming had both fought in Lingnan County, so the two got some human skin masks from Su Chen, and of course they also learned some disguise techniques from Su Chen. Shangguan Jinhong entered the courtyard. He saw Mirengfu, who had a face like a jade plate and a body like a jade tree, a handsome gentleman. Hello, Brother Shangguan. Mirengfu bowed. Brother Mireng is polite. Shangguan Jinhong said. Prepare some light wine. Let's go in and chat. Mirengfu said. In the room. Zhao Royan slowly took some wine and food out of the basket, then closed the door, and stood in the courtyard. Brother Mireng, you are so lucky. Shangguan Jinhong said with a smile as he looked at Zhao Royan who was leaving. Please sit down. Murungfu waved his hand, and after Shangwen Jinhang sat down, he poured Shangwen Jinhang a glass of wine and said, "This time I asked brother Shangwen to come here mainly for some things in the money gang. The 12th Prince Liu he is short of money, and he wants to get support from the money gang. I think this is an opportunity, so I asked brother Shangwen to discuss this matter." Murungfu poured himself a glass while speaking. Hearing Murungfu's words, Shangwen Jinhang frowned slightly. "Brother Murung, although I have become the guardian of Jin Yuting has not let me manage the internal affairs of the money gang. Shangwen Jinhang has joined the money gang for some time. After becoming the guardian of Jin Yuting, he has not made many breakthroughs. Recently, the former general manager sent a letter, hoping that I can support the Jiangnan beggar gang. The flood there is an opportunity for the development of the beggar gang, but too much silver is consumed." Shangwen Jinhang said in a deep voice. "Brother Shangwen, don't you think of a way to crack it?" Murungfu said. "There is a way, but manpower is a problem." When he said this, Shangwen Jinhang looked at Murungfu, and a gleam of light flashed in his eyes. "I was worried about the manpower problem before, but now it shouldn't be a problem. Brother Murung recently conquered the Iron Palm gang in Mengcheng. Maybe he can help me turn this situation around." Shangwen Jinhang took a sip of wine. "Brother Shangwen, although I have conquered the Iron Palm gang in Mengcheng, many things cannot be done for the time being. After all, I'm helping the 12th Prince Liu he to control the Iron Palm gang. I'm afraid that, if I use those people, the news may leak out, which will be disadvantageous to me." Murungfu said. "No need to hide it from him. Didn't the 12th Prince send someone to contact the Jinqian gang this time? Jin Yuting should not be able to stand on the side of the 12th Prince now, so Liu he should support others to take the position. If I replace Jin Yuting, then I can cooperate with Liu he. I think Liu he is willing to cooperate with me," Shangwen Jinhang said. "But I'm afraid that the 12th Prince won't believe it. I've been in contact with the 12th Prince for a while. He looks careless on the outside, but he's very thoughtful." Murungfu said. "If you give him benefits, won't he believe it? I recently got a route map in time for the silver that the Jinqian gang transported back. The person in charge of this route is Wei Xingen, the left-hand man of Jin Yuting's most trusted right-hand man. You said he was responsible for the money being robbed on the route. Will it be his fault then? But this batch of silver, I want to share half with the 12th Prince Liu he. I think Liu he will support me more when he sees the silver. After getting the silver, I will quickly transport this batch of silver to Jiangnan to the Kao gang leader," Shangwen Jinhang said. "If Liu he sees the silver, he will indeed agree, but you have to be careful here. There is a woman next to Liu he, who is from the Shadow Gate. There are many spies around the capital. When you transport the silver, you must make arrangements," Murungfu said. "I will secretly notify Golden Wind and Rain Tower, and let them make the arrangements," Shangwen Jinhang said. Then Murungfu learned about the situation in detail, and after a while he said, "After we finish talking about the matter, let's have a good drink." Murungfu picked up the wine glass. In the evening, the two of them left the courtyard one after another. As soon as Murungfu left, he went to the residence of the 12th Prince Liu he. Now the flow of people in front of the 12th Prince Liu he is no less than that of the 9 ruling princes. Because the 12th Prince has got some real power at this time, the world is bustling for profit, and the world is bustling for profit. Being in power means having interests. People are like this. If there are interests, people will come. "Hello, Mr. Murung." The guard bowed to Murungfu, and Murungfu soon came to the hall. In the hall, the 12th Prince was receiving a middle-aged man in Confucian clothes and thin face, with a faint official aura. He was the newly appointed city guard of Mengcheng around the capital. Although it is only a city, Mengcheng is close to the capital, and has a special status. The city keeper of Mengcheng is no worse than the governors of the 9 counties in Lingnan. "Mr. Murung, King Cheng Shao." The two greeted each other, and then Murungfu saluted Liu he and said, "Meet your highness." "Your highness, Mr. Murung should have something to do here, so I will take my leave first." King Cheng Shao bowed and said. The 12th Prince waved his hand. King Cheng Shao bowed and left. "Murung is so anxious to find me. Is there something?" "Your highness, today I have an appointment with Shangwen he, the guardian of Jin Yuting of the money gang. Shangwen he is very ambitious and wants to replace Jin Yuting's left and right arms. He wants to cooperate with us. While speaking, Mirengfu stepped forward and said something in the ear of the 12th Prince Liuhe. The 12th Prince listened to Mirengfu's words, and a gleam of light flashed in his eyes. You mean this batch of 2 million silver is going to enter the money gang of the capital? Liuhe said in a low voice. Yes, but Shangwen he wants half of the silver. Mirengfu said. It's a win-win situation, so it's okay to give him half, but tell him that he can only take 20% the first time, and he can only take 20% next time. Liuhe said. He has been worried about money recently. Before he had some power, he had enough money, but after he got power, there were too many people eating, which caused him to spend more than he earned. He needed to make money, crazy money. Chapter 437, Shadowgate, Sect Leader, Nanhei Chamber of Commerce. Then I will go and make arrangements. I may need to mobilize the Iron Palm Gang in Mengcheng. Mirengfu said. You can mobilize them. You are the one who is in contact with the Iron Palm Gang now. You can arrange it according to your ideas. The 12th Prince Liuhe looked at Mirengfu and said. His face showed appreciation. Mirengfu saw through some things very clearly. He reported everything, but he never concealed his ambitions. Liuhe admired such people very much. King Chengxiao who just left. You can move around more. Liuhe said afterwards. I will arrange the affairs of the money gang here and help His Highness get back what he needs as soon as possible. Mirengfu said. After speaking, Mirengfu did not stay here. Not only Liuhe was in urgent need of funds, but also Cao Feng in Jiangnan, so he had to grab the silver from the money gang as soon as possible. After Mirengfu left, Hang Luo, who was wearing red clothes from the Shadow Gate, walked out from the back hall. You're going to let Mirengfu do this? Are you so confident? Hang Luo said as he looked at Mirengfu who was leaving. The money gang was promoted by Mirengfu. If you promote it, I can also let you do it. But we can't be careless about this matter. You Shadowgate should also send people to watch it. But remember, just watch, don't move. Liuhe looked at Hang Luo and said, Your Highness, don't worry. We Shadowgate will definitely track down the whole process of this matter. Hang Luo bowed. It is rumored that the descendants of Cheng Shenghu and Bun Lao Tang have appeared. Does your Shadowgate have any clues about this descendant? The 12th Prince said. For now, it's just rumors outside, but no one has seen the descendants of these two mysterious forces. However, we, Shadowgate, are looking for them, and I believe we will find them soon. Hang Luo said in a deep voice. Is that so? Try to find them as much as possible. If I can get their support, my chances of winning will be greater. Also, your Shadow Sect Master, when will you meet me? Now that I have the power to rule as a 9th Emperor, your Sect Master has not met me, which shows that he is not sincere. The 12th Prince looked at Hang Luo and said, The Sect Master should come out of seclusion in a month, and will meet your Highness at that time. Hang Luo said, Okay, you will arrange it then. I really want to meet your Sect Master who has never shown up. Liuhe said. Then your Highness, I will arrange people here first to keep an eye on Mirengfu's affairs. Hang Luo bowed and said. Liuhe nodded. Hang Luo bowed and walked out of the banquet hall. After leaving Liuhe's mansion, there was already a carriage waiting outside the door. Hang Luo entered the carriage. A woman wearing a veil was in the carriage. Her face could not be seen clearly, but there was a hint of coldness in her eyes. Meet the Sect Master. Hang Luo entered the carriage and saluted the woman. How many of the forces and people that Liuhe has gathered can we control? The veiled woman said. Liuhe has been deliberately avoiding me recently. I haven't been able to grasp many things in the first place. Recently, he has been using a man named Mirengfu. This man helped him conquer the Iron Palm Gang in Mengcheng, and also got in touch with the people of the Money Gang. They want to rob a batch of silver that the Money Gang transported to the capital. Liuhe asked me to monitor this Mirengfu, and he wants to meet with you, the leader. I will follow your previous instructions, and say that you can meet him after 1 month, when you come out of seclusion. Hang Luo said in a deep voice. Liuhe took action against the Money Gang. He is really brave. What do you think of this Mirengfu? Can we gather him for our use? The veiled woman said. This man is very ambitious and has never concealed it. If we want to win him over, we must give him enough power, which we cannot do. And I'm afraid that this Mirang Fu was sent out by Liu to test us. Hang Eluo said in a deep voice. Is that so? Then I will go and contact this Mirang Fu in person. The veiled woman said. It's not appropriate for the sect master to contact Mirang Fu in person. If Mirang Fu is someone sent out by Liu, your identity will be. Hang Eluo couldn't help but say. I know this. Find the Azov, Bilao Tang, and Cheng Shenghu as soon as possible. If we can't find them, we will get them from other forces. I understand. Hang Eluo responded. Recently, the funds of the Marquis of Anking have also been in trouble. He has been trying to invest in our Nanhei Chamber of Commerce. His previous source of funds was the Money Gang. Jin Yuting does not support him now. You can tell the 12th Prince about this. Or you can get in touch with this line through Madame Anking. The Money Gang has been able to stand firm in the Great Zhao Dynasty for so many years. It's not that no one has plotted against them, but the Money Gang still exists. We can't underestimate its foundation. I heard some rumors that Jin Fihang, the leader of the Money Gang, may be one of the several managers of Zenwu Garden. It is possible that moving the Money Gang will lead to people from Zenwu Garden, so try to promote the cooperation between Liu and the Marquis of Anking. The veiled woman continued. Hearing this, Nahang Luo was slightly startled. She didn't expect that the Money Gang would be related to Zenwu Garden. The carriage moved forward on the street and slowly entered the crowd and disappeared. Jinfengxiu Tower. How is the investigation of the president of the Nanhei Chamber of Commerce going? Bei Chaofei looked at Nalan Rangan and said. The investigation data is limited. The president of the Nanhei Chamber of Commerce rarely shows up, and when she does, she wears a veil. When I contact her, it is also through the veil. There is a layer of subtle energy on the veil, which blocks my investigation. As for the identity of this person, I only found out that he came from Hainan, and I didn't find any specific clues. I wanted to buy information about this person from other forces, but the information I got was different. I'm sorting out this information, hoping to find some useful information. Nalan Rangan said. Don't collect too much information about this person. For us, this person is not that important. Put down your work now. There is an important thing that needs you to do. Bei Chaofei told him what Shangwen Jinhang and Mirang Fu discussed. Mirang Fu and Shangwen Jinhang are worried that the 12th Prince has an arrangement and may monitor them, so they want us to help. After they succeed, quickly disperse this batch of silver and transport it to Jiangnan. Bei Chaofei said. Jiangnan. Do we have people there too? Nalan Rangan asked in surprise. The longer I followed Bei Chaofei, the more I felt the power of Shianaya Pavilion behind Jinfengxi Lao. At this moment, a member of Jinfengxi Lao appeared outside the door. Master, news from the outside world. The member bowed outside the door and said, come in. Bei Chaofei said. After the disciple came in, he handed the secret letter to Bei Chaofei and bowed out of the room. Bei Chaofei opened the secret letter and showed surprise on his face. Then he handed the secret letter to Nalan Rangan. Chapter 438, Jinfengxiu Tower, Beggar's Sect, Yedahu and Evil Alliance. Nalan Rangan looked at Bei Chaofei's surprised expression and took the secret letter handed over by Bei Chaofei. After reading it, Nalan Rangan's face showed horror. Dongzhi joined hands with Qinglang Society to destroy Qianshan Sect outside the Great Wall, and Dongzhi occupied Qianshan Sect. Nalan Rangan's voice was filled with disbelief. She knew very well about Qianshan Sect. The 9 northern counties were close to the Great Wall, and she knew about Qianshan Sect outside the Great Wall. Although it had been silent for 20 years, Qianshan Sect was still strong. Dongzhi Pavilion Master Gu Santong and Deputy Pavilion Master Zhu Wusi, to see concentrated masters, took action, and with the Qinglang Society, led by the young master, it was not a problem to take down Qianshan Sect. Bei Chaofei said, Master, I'm actually very curious about the identity of the young master. Nalan Rangan said. Bei Chaofei knew what Nalan Rangan meant. Su Chen was the young dragon leader of King Lang's society, but he was also related to Xian'ai Pavilion. Although she had some vague guesses about Su Chen's specific identity in Xian'ai Pavilion, she was not sure. Young master, from my address, you can know that the young master of Xian'ai Pavilion is second only to one person in terms of status. Actually, it's similar to what you guessed in your heart, so sometimes you can offend the masters, but you can't offend the young master. Bei Chaofei said in a deep voice. Although the strength of the masters is very strong, Yi and Future are in charge of the North Pavilion and are in charge of Golden Wind and Rain Tower on the surface, but to be honest, in all aspects, Bei Chaofei still follows Su Chen's orders. Young master, now we are making arrangements in Jiangnan. After a while, a force called Beggar Gang will appear in Jiangnan. The person who appears is the young master's direct descendant. The leader of the gang is called Kao Feng, and his strength is in the 9 difficulties of heaven and man. He may soon be able to condense the spirit in the sea. In the future, this beggar gang may become one of our Golden Wind and Rain Tower's main sources of intelligence. Bei Chaofei said. Once the beggars gang develops in the Great Zhao dynasty, it will definitely be beneficial to them. Golden Wind and Drizzle Tower. He can cooperate with the beggars gang. Beggars gang. Hearing this, Nalan Rangan frowned slightly. She didn't quite understand what this gang was. A gang composed of beggars from all over the world. You said that having such a group of people would be very beneficial to us. Golden Wind and Drizzle Tower. Bei Chaofei said. Hearing this, Nalan Rangan's expression changed. Although the Great Zhao dynasty unified the world, there was a huge gap between the rich and the poor. The gentry, the martial arts families, the court officials, and the sects were the real nobles. There were many civilians at the bottom, and many people became beggars because they couldn't eat. If a gang was composed of beggars, it would definitely become the force with the most members in the Great Zhao dynasty. The world's largest gang. Bei Chaofei said. Although it won't be the world's strongest force, it definitely has the most people. Young master, are you going to dominate the world? Nalan Rangan asked with some surprise. It depends on the young master's heart to fight for the world, but the young master is determined to become the world's martial arts overlord. Bei Chaofei said. In this world, the martial arts overlord is actually the strongest ruler. If Emperor Zhao is not strong, then his dynasty can only become a subsidiary of the sect. The kingship is determined by hegemony. If Su Chen becomes the martial arts overlord, then he is the real overlord of the world, even more powerful than Emperor Zhao the Great Zhao. But this road is not easy to walk. Nalan Rangan thought in her heart, but she somewhat understood Su Chen's purpose. After entering the capital, she knew a lot of secrets. It is rumored that Emperor Zhao's fight for the world is to collect the world's luck, to break through the void, and enter the gate of heaven. Su Chen became the overlord of the world, broke through the void, and entered the gate of heaven, and pursued the ultimate in martial arts. What's wrong with that? I will definitely assist the owner of the building to fulfill the young master's wish. Nalan Rangan said. We are a little slow in making plans in Jiangnan. After Shangwen Jinhang and his team get the silver, I want you to go to Jiangnan in person, meet with the leader Kao of the Beggars sect, and take my token to meet the owner of Wuki Villa, Lian Qingbi. He will help you then. Bei Chaofei said. Bei Chaofei felt a little bitter when he spoke. There were not many masters on his side, especially those from their Golden Wind and Drizzle Tower. I'm afraid to go alone to escort this batch of silver. Nalan Rangan said with a frown. She had no problem going to Jiangnan, but she was afraid of danger on the way with the silver. Mr. Leng and Mr. Bei, they will arrive tomorrow, and they will escort you there. Bei Chaofei said. Although Golden Wind and Drizzle Tower was famous, it was a little weak in strength, so some time ago, Su Chen transferred Bei Xian'ai and Leng Hushan over. Guan Qi had already appeared outside the Great Wall, cooperating with Du Guwudi, and becoming a member of the East Pavilion. It is not appropriate to come to Golden Wind and Drizzle Tower. Moreover, Guan Qi will not be inferior to him. Bei Chaofei. Although Leng Hushan and Bei Xian'ai are also overlords, they are different from Guan Qi. Then I'm relieved. With the support of the resources from the young master, the strength of Leng Hushan and Bei Xian'ai will definitely be greatly improved. there should be no problem in escorting her to Jiangnan. The 12th Prince Liu, he is very scheming. There are people from Shadowgate beside him. They may be watching this action. You should be careful to contact them. I will apply to the master to see if some masters can be sent. Bei Chaofei said. Can't we apply to the North Pavilion? Nalan Rangayan asked. The East Pavilion has a pavilion master and a deputy pavilion master in the frontier, and 4 elders have appeared. The North Pavilion must have them too. Their Golden Wind and Drizzle Tower is in the North Pavilion, and they should have such members. Bei Chaofei felt a little bitter when he heard Nalan Rangayan's words. Now, except for the pavilion master and deputy pavilion master, the North Pavilion is all flowery. There is no one at all, and support is not available. But this matter cannot be told to Nalan Rangayan yet. It's good that the 2 pavilion masters of the North Pavilion can support me. Didn't I tell you before? Although our Golden Wind and Rain Tower is under the North Pavilion, it is under the young master. Sometimes we can only rely on ourselves. If it doesn't work, I will ask the young master to dispatch some people from the Green Dragon Society to help us. But I will write to the young master about this matter and see what the young master thinks. Bei Chaofei said afterwards. He did want Su Chen to send some people. ED and future can't appear often. Once they don't appear, they may face provocations from some forces, and this sign has already appeared vaguely. Some forces in charge of the capital have begun to move against them vaguely. Once this slenderness appears, it won't be long before someone will step on the line. While they were talking, suddenly, the window of the attic was shaken open by a strong wind, and 2 figures flashed in. It was Emperor of the Night and Future. The 3 leaders of the Evil League asked us to meet in Xiangcheng near the capital tomorrow. We will leave today. After meeting the 3 leaders of the Evil League, if there is nothing else, we will leave the capital. Emperor of the Night said. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 439. The Grand Protector is getting older. Mirren King Chen expects Su Chen to come to Beijing. The 3rd leader of the Evil Alliance asked you to meet. The Evil Alliance lost 2 people in Fengjiazhuang some time ago, and is being pursued by the Heavenly Supervision Department. They want to meet you at this time. Bei Chaofei was a little confused. Are you afraid that he has some plans? After hearing this, Evil Emperor said in a deep voice. Evil Alliance is ruthless. I'm afraid that they have some plans when they come to you at this time. After all, we gave the long sword to Mirren King Chen. I'm afraid that they will transfer the loss of Fengjiazhuang to our Golden Wind and Rain Tower. Bei Chaofei said. We will pay attention to this. After the meeting, we will inform you of the meeting situation. Emperor Knight said. Sir Emperor Knight, this is the news from the outside of the Great Wall. Please take a look. Bei Chaofei glanced at Nalan Rangayan. Nalan Rangayan handed the secret letter to Yi. Yi frowned slightly after reading it and handed it to Rihao beside him. Rihao's expression seemed very calm. Let this news out. I think even if Zimeng has any action, they will think deeply about it. We came here to say goodbye to you. By the way, please help us say hello to the young master. Rihao said, looked at Yi and said, we should also leave. After that, he left first. Yi left without saying anything else. After the 2 left, Nalan Rangayan stepped forward to close the window and said, should we send someone to pay attention to the situation over there? No, you send out the situation outside the Great Wall now. I think Zimeng will be similar to what Rihao expected. Of course, even if Zimeng takes action with Yi and Rihao, there should be no problem with safety. Bei Chaofei said. Emperor of the Night and, in the future, can fight against the strong man who is concentrating in the sea. Yes, I will arrange it now. After saying that, Nalan Rangayan bowed and retreated. At this time, Bei Chaofei walked to the table and pulled out a portrait from the table. The portrait showed an old man in brocade clothes, with white hair on his temples, a scholar's temperament, and looked extremely gentle and elegant. Taebao is close to the age of Lun. Bei Chao for his goal. Although King Lang Hu may have some conflicts with the eldest prince, they, Golden Wind and Rain Tower, are intelligence forces and there is no conflict. Bei Chao had contacted this person in secret before. Now that Xian'ai Pavilion has destroyed Xianxian sect outside the Great Wall, I believe their contact will be smoother. Su Chen's intention before was to contact Bei Chao with Mirren King Chen to promote cooperation between them. In that case, Xian Jianxi, under Mirren King Chen's control, can become one of the sources of wealth behind him. But after some contact, he always felt that Mirren King Chen and the Heavenly Supervision Division had a feeling of mismatch. This was Bei Chao's intuition. He didn't say it clearly, perhaps because Mirren King Chen had just taken over the Heavenly Supervision Division. But as someone sent to the capital by Su Chen, he would not wait for Mirren King Chen to truly take charge of the Heavenly Supervision Division, and he needed to develop the resources of the capital himself. The eldest prince failed in the 9 northern counties and launched an offensive in Jiangnan, but the forces in the Jiangnan region were intertwined, so progress was slow. This was his chance. Bei Chao. Many things require participation in order to better understand the trend ahead. When Bei Chao was thinking, the intelligence from the outside of the Great Wall had already arrived in the capital. One of the secret reports was delivered to Mirren King Chen of the Heavenly Supervision Division. The Xianxian sect in the outer frontier was destroyed by the East Pavilion of Xian'ai Pavilion. The attackers were the East Pavilion Master Gu Santong and the Deputy Pavilion Master Zhu Wusi. Both of them were masters of concentrating their minds in the sea. Looking at the secret report in her hand, Mirren King Chen frowned slightly. She was not too shocked when the North Pavilion of Xian'ai Pavilion, Yidi and Rihao, appeared before, but this time, 2 masters of concentrating their minds in the sea appeared in the East Pavilion of Xian'ai Pavilion. This made her pay more attention. Among them, the King Lang Society was also involved in this matter. Huo Mufeng's death may have been caused by the King Lang Society and Xian'ai Pavilion, East Pavilion Master Gu Santong's joint siege. At that time, 3 heaven and earth phenomena appeared where Huo Mufeng fought. One of the phenomena showed an iron-blooded momentum, which was different from the divine momentum of Xian'ai Pavilion, Deputy Pavilion Master Zhu Wuxi. Therefore, according to the judgment of Xian Jianxi, it should be that the King Lang Society sent a sea-concentrated spirit strongman to help Gu Santong. Kwei said in a deep voice. King Lang Society is also involved in this matter. It seems that Xian'ai Pavilion has given a lot of rewards and dispatched so many people. Mirren King Chen said. Miss, do you think we should find a way to transfer Su Chen from the 9 northern counties to the capital to help you, young lady? Kwei said at this time. Now Su Chen is the leader of the martial arts world of the 9 northern counties. If he comes to the capital and helps you, you should be able to open up the situation in the capital. Kwei said. Hearing Kwei's words, Mirren King Chen pondered. Although she took over the Xianjian division, it was not as easy as she thought. There was a lack of confidence, and she also lacked help. The Xianjian division has a strict procedure for transfers. It is not that she, as the head of the Xianjian division, can transfer it whenever she wants. Not to mention the Battle of Fengjiazhuang. The loss of one of the 3 elders of the Xianjian division is not good news for her. Miss, this Su Chen has a close relationship with Bei Chao of Golden Wind and Drizzle Tower. If he comes to the capital, you may be able to get some support from Golden Wind and Drizzle Tower. In the battle outside the Great Wall, Xian'ai Pavilion, behind Golden Wind and Drizzle Tower, showed strong strength. Miss, we must fight for it. Kwei said. I'll think about this matter carefully and see what conditions I can offer to get Su Chen to come to the capital to help me. Mirren King Chen said, after thinking for a moment. She couldn't use the help from the 4th prince for the time being, mainly because the 4th prince was also suppressed now. The fight between the 9 princes was already fierce, and now with the rise of some other princes, she felt that the capital was going to be in turmoil. Father, what do you think? Mirren King Chen pondered. The current situation in the Great Zhao dynasty was absolutely related to her father's seclusion. How is the investigation of the Evil League? Do you have any clues? Mirren King Chen asked. We have got a clue here. Tomorrow, the 3 leaders of the Evil League will meet with Yi and Future in Xiangcheng outside the capital. Should we take action against them? Kei Wei said in a deep voice. They are going to meet. We must find a way to take down the 3rd leader of the Evil League. I will go to see Mr. Situ and ask him to do it personally. Mirren King Chen's eyes flashed with a cold light. Chapter 440. Changes outside the Great Wall lead to changes in the capital. Mr. Situ, as mentioned by Mirren King Chen, is the eldest of the 3 elders of the Heavenly Supervision Division and a powerful Sea-concentrated spirit master. He is also the strongest fighting force left to Mirren King Chen by the previous Heavenly Supervision Division chief. With Mr. Situ's action, the 3 leaders of the Evil Alliance will surely not be able to escape. If the 3 leaders of the Evil Alliance are captured by our Heavenly Supervision Division when they meet with Yi and Future, then there should be no possibility for the Evil Alliance and Xian'ai Pavilion to join forces. This is a win-win situation for us. Kei Wei said softly. Keep a close eye on this matter and also let them notify us in time about the situation in the 9 northern counties and the frontier. Don't delay. While Mirren King Chen was speaking, she stood up. She was going to ask Mr. Situ to take action tomorrow. When she set off, in the capital, the situation outside the frontier also spread quickly. Late at night, in the underground secret room of Keijing's mansion, Keijing came to sit cross-legged, with streams of white and blood-colored qi flowing through his body. They looked distinct, but they were also interconnected. These qi flows intertwined with each other, and finally merged into his body. In his body, the Danshan turned into a sea. One side was white and the other side was blood-colored, and the strong qi power continued to nourish his body. Suddenly, he opened his eyes, and the white and blood-colored qi outside his body were all absorbed into his body. He said, "Come in." Then the door of the secret room was pushed open. A woman in a black dress appeared in the secret room. Prime Minister, the secret letter from the outside is about Xian'ai Pavilion. The person handed the secret letter to Keijing. Xian'ai Pavilion, outside the Great Wall. Are they also taking action outside the Great Wall? Keijing took the secret letter with some doubts. After opening the secret letter, Keijing's face became solemn. Gu Santong, the head of the East Pavilion of Xian'ai Pavilion, and Zhu Washi, the deputy head of the East Pavilion, are powerful people who concentrate their spirits in the sea. They killed Huo Mufeng and occupied Xianshan sect. According to the news, Huo Mufeng should have been killed by Gu Santong and the people of Qinglong society. Zhu Washi's divine power is different from the divine power of the people who fought with Huo Mufeng at that time. The visitor said. Qinglong Society, Xian'ai Pavilion, I will meet Yi and Rahao tomorrow. If we can reach a cooperation, we can speed up the movement here. Keijing contacted Yi and Rahao at this time, because he wanted to cooperate with them. Prime Minister, Yi and Rahao gave the sword you needed to Mirren King Chen last time, causing us to lose 2 masters. I'm afraid that we need to be more cautious this time. The woman in the black skirt said in a deep voice. You don't need to ask more about this matter, just arrange the time. Keijing waved his hand. As for the failure of Feng Jiazhuang, it was his fault, and he would not blame others. How is the situation in Jiangnan? Keijing said afterwards. The flood has begun to spread. It is estimated that there will be some refugees in a short time, and the plague will also occur. The plague medicine has been stockpiled. No outbreak. The medicine is not allowed to flow out. The woman in the black skirt reported. This matter must be done well, and there must be no mistakes. Keijing ordered. Don't worry, sir. The object we choose to cooperate with this time is Liao, the direct descendant of the Lai family. With his participation, there will be absolutely no problems. The woman in the black skirt replied. Hearing the words of the woman in the black skirt, Keijing nodded and said, there must be no mistakes in the affairs of Jiangnan. You go to Jiangnan in person. Jiangnan is their pilot project, so he attaches great importance to it. Hearing Kei Xiang's words, the woman in the black skirt was puzzled. With the help of the Lai family, they will not have any problems in obtaining benefits this time. I don't know why the sir attaches so much importance to it, but she didn't dare to disobey Keijing's order. I will leave for Jiangnan right away. The woman in the black skirt bowed. Let Qiusun go with you, Keijing ordered. Yes. The woman in black skirt left the secret room. Keijing also walked out of the secret room and came to the banquet hall in the courtyard. There was no one else in the banquet hall. But when he stepped into the banquet hall, a black shadow appeared in the dark. I will go with you to meet that Emperor of Night and Future. The black shadow said in a deep voice. They are afraid that something will happen to me. My strength has improved compared to the past few days. Even if Emperor of Night concentrates his mind in the sea, it will be difficult to keep me, Keijing said. Emperor of Night and Future, they should not attack you. After all, we have no conflict of interest. I always feel that there is a big hand behind me pushing something. I'm afraid that other people will attack you this time. Your current identity and status are very important to us, and there must be no problems, so I will follow you. The black shadow said in a deep voice. Is that so? Then you can come with me, and by the way, we can also evaluate the cooperation with Xian'ai Pavilion, Keijing said. The descendants of Bilao Tang and Cheng Shenghu have appeared. You must find them. If we can cooperate with them, it will be extremely beneficial to us. The black-robed man said in a deep voice. We are already investigating, but I'm afraid that someone has released Smocker's screen. Logically, Bilao Tang and Cheng Shenghu should not appear at this time. It is not the time of chaos yet, Keijing said. Maybe the chaos is about to begin. If Emperor Zhao does not come out for a while, the world will inevitably be in turmoil. In the martial arts world, as long as there is an opportunity, many people will strive for this opportunity. The King Langhu and Xian'ai Pavilion that have appeared now, as well as the ancient Qi sect in the South China Sea, the 5 Poison Demon sect in the Chuanan area, etc. These forces will not appear for no reason. The black-robed man said. After hearing what the black-robed man said, Keijing pondered for a moment and said, the chaos will gather in the chaos, and I guess there are people who have the same idea as us. Let's go. Let's set off to Xiangcheng, Keijing said. While he was talking, his face changed, and he became an ordinary-looking middle-aged man, and quietly left the left Prime Minister's mansion. The eldest prince's mansion. The eldest prince was playing chess with an old man in brocade robes. Teacher, we are making slow progress in the Jiangnan area. Do we need to increase our manpower? The eldest prince put down the white chess piece in his hand. There was a strong offensive momentum on the chess piece. It is unlikely that the Jiangnan area will expand. Previously, we just wanted to dampen their spirits, not really expand our power range. Now that our goal has been achieved, we should shrink. We now need to find new foreign aid. The old man in brocade robes opposite him put down the black chess piece in his hand and said softly. The black chess piece fell, and the mountains and forests were silent, blocking the fierce momentum of the previous white chess, and a new momentum appeared faintly. Teacher, you have a new target here. The eldest prince spoke without putting down the chess piece. Recently, Bei Chalfei from Golden Wind and Drizzle Tower has contacted me several times, thinking about cooperating with us. I have been hesitant before, and I'm not optimistic about this Golden Wind and Drizzle Tower, but today a message came from the north, which made me change my mind. I think we can contact Golden Wind and Drizzle Tower for mutual benefit. The old man in brocade robe said. From the conversation between the two, we can know that the old man in brocade robe is another mentor of the eldest prince, the current grand tutor of the great Zhao dynasty, Nian Jinlin. My wife has been sick these 2 days, and it is very inconvenient to live with the children at a relative's house, but it seems that she will not be able to stand it for long. Chapter 441, Zenwu Taoist Temple, the eldest prince's thoughts, and the alliance with Qinglang Society. We can cooperate, but I want them to show some sincerity. Recently, the 7th prince contacted Yanshan and obtained a batch of high-quality ice jade stones, which are on the way to the capital. If they can help me get them, it's okay to cooperate with them, the eldest prince said. The 7th prince is practicing the northern ice mysterious art, and he probably wants to use this ice jade stone to improve his strength. If the Golden Phoenix Drizzle Tower seizes this batch of ice jade stones. In addition, the 7th prince's mentor, Master Takesu, died at the hands of the Qinglang Society, and there is also the shadow of the Golden Wind Drizzle Tower. Combined with the two, we have established a powerful opponent for the 7th prince. A force without an opponent cannot stand in the capital. The Taibao said to himself. Golden Wind and Drizzle Tower has contact with King Chen, and King Chen is in charge of the Heavenly Supervision Bureau. Logically, it would be more beneficial for her to cooperate with the Golden Wind and Drizzle Tower. Why didn't their cooperation go ahead? If the Golden Wind and Drizzle Tower cooperates with the Heavenly Supervision Bureau, it will also be beneficial to us. The eldest prince said in a deep voice. Your Highness, you think things are a bit simple. The role of Heavenly Supervision Division depends mainly on who is in charge. Under Mirren King Chen's leadership, Heavenly Supervision Division is at most an empty shell. What's more, when Zhu Pingsheng left, he only left 3 elders to Mirren King Chen. Now that Ni Jiansha died in the hands of Evil Alliance, there are only 2 left. Among the 2, Sita Sheng is the strongest. It was previously rumored that he had been in seclusion for several years and had successfully stepped into the sea to concentrate his mind. But concentrating the mind in the sea also has strengths and weaknesses. Situ Sheng's own blood and vitality are declining. I guess he should have relied on drugs to break through and step into this step, so his divine power is very weak. So, Heavenly Supervision Division can't become a knife in Mirren King Chen's hands. Nyan Jinlin said in a deep voice. Teacher, what do you mean? Heavenly Supervision Division is still in the hands of my father? The eldest prince frowned slightly and said in a deep voice. It must be in your majesty's hands. Qian Jianzi is your majesty's sword, just like a sword repairer. Would he give the sword to other people at will? Your majesty's absence does not mean that he does not ask questions, but I still haven't figured out the purpose of your majesty's doing so. Nyan Jinlin frowned as he spoke. Yes, if my father wanted to abdicate, the throne of the great Zhao Emperor should be passed to me, the eldest son, but he created a 9-prince ruling. He wants us to fight each other, and eventually one of them will become the crown prince and inherit his throne. Before, I thought that my strength would increase. I would be able to overwhelm the other 8 and become the crown prince, but I didn't expect to be calculated and lose the 9 northern counties and Qinglang Temple. And now those princes who didn't get the 9 emperor ruling position are also beginning to emerge. These people should have obtained the permission of my father, otherwise they would not emerge. Teacher, what do you think my father wants to do? The eldest prince said with some unwillingness in his tone. Your Highness, you should relax. As long as His Majesty does not break the void and enter the heavenly gate, his position as the Lord of the Great Zhao will not fall into the hands of anyone. At that time, His Majesty successfully entered the broken level with the world's fortune. According to reason, he could break the void, but His Majesty did not do it, but chose to retreat. I thought His Majesty wanted to stabilize his fortune. But His Majesty has not asked about the affairs of the court in recent years, which makes me very confused. Now many people speculate that His Majesty may have a hidden illness. The court and the rivers and lakes are changing. Nyan Jinlin sighed and then said, we just need to understand these things. Now our main goal is to continue to increase the strength on my side. Teacher is right. I don't know if the teacher has any ideas about Kingsu Temple. It is rumored that Kingsu Temple is not going to support the 7th prince anymore. The eldest prince said in a deep voice. Because of the death of Takesu Zenran, Kingsu Temple has an unclear attitude towards the 7th prince, and I got the news that they are already looking for other people, and the people they are looking for may not be the 9 princes in charge. Nyan Jinlin said. Not one of the 9 ruling princes. Has the teacher received any information? The eldest prince was startled and asked. One of the holy places of Taoism, Zenwu Taoist Temple, has sent a descendant down the mountain. This descendant has already arrived at Kingsu Temple and is preparing to come to the capital with New Yuanping, the eldest disciple of Kingsu Temple. Nyan Jinlin said. Someone from Zenwu Taoist Temple has come down the mountain. I wonder who this person is? The name is Mu Kingsun. It is said that she has cultivated one of the 3 unique skills of Zenwu Taoist Temple, Zenwu Supreme Sword Art. I don't know her specific strength for the time being. Nyan Jinlin said in a deep voice. If I can get the recognition of Mu Kingsuan from Zenwu Taoist Temple, can I get in touch with the Taoist sect and get their support? The eldest prince said with a happy look on his face. The power of Taoism is very strong in the Great Zhao dynasty. If he can get the support of Zenwu Taoist Temple and Kingsu Temple, he can not only make up for the power he lost in the 9 northern counties before, but also further enhance his power. Your Highness, let's see how they react after they arrive in the capital. If they don't go to visit the 7th prince, then maybe we can make some contact. And what does the esoteric sect think of the 9 counties in the north? They won't really want to close the Qinglang Temple. Nyan Jinlin mentioned the Qinglang Temple. There is no movement from the Buddhist sect for the time being. I don't know what they think. The eldest prince frowned. No movement. I'm afraid the Buddhist sect has something in mind. This time, the Qinglang Temple is in crisis. If the Buddhist sect fully supports it, who can suppress them? I'm afraid that the Buddhist sect will look for new people like the Taoist sect. Your Highness must be on guard. Nyan Jinlin said in a deep voice. While he was speaking, his chess piece fell. He stood up and said, Your Highness, the time I agreed with Bei Chaofei has come, so I'll leave first. Then I'll trouble you, teacher. The eldest prince bowed and sent Nyan Jinlin out of the palace. After sending Nyan Jinlin away, the eldest prince sat on the bench. He fell into deep thought. Then he said, Come here. A dark shadow walked in from outside the door. You go to the northern 9 counties and meet with Su Chen on my behalf. By the way, give this letter to Su Chen. Just say that I want to cooperate with him. The eldest prince took out a letter from his arms. It seemed that he had prepared it a long time ago. The northern 9 counties failed, and the Qinglang Temple, which had previously supported him, was closed down, which made him lose a great helper. And as Taebao said, the attitude of the Buddhist tantric sect has changed a little. He sensed the crisis. So he wanted to cooperate with the Qinglang Society. The people of the Qinglang Society killed Taixu Zenran of Kingsu Temple, and they had already made enemies with Laoki. Although the fight between him and Laoki on the surface has subsided, it has not been secretly. If he cooperates with the Qinglang Society, his power will definitely be further improved. Maybe he can liberate Qinglang Temple. The man in black bowed and left the room. Chapter 442, Heavenly Supervision Division, Sita Sheng, the remnant of the Blood Demon sect, Xiangcheng. In a quiet mansion. The mansion is very large, with pavilions, towers, courtyards, and everything. Especially in the backyard, there is a large waterside pavilion. When the breeze blows, ripples appear on the lake. Yidi and Rihao stand in a pavilion in the waterside pavilion. I didn't expect Zimeng to meet us here. Rihao looked at the surrounding waterside pavilion and said, It's a bit beyond my expectation. I don't know what Zimeng wants to do by suddenly meeting us this time. Yidi said, It shouldn't be a simple matter. If it was simple, they wouldn't ask us to meet like this. Rihao said. When Rihao finished speaking, over the courtyard, a figure slowly walked out, wearing a black robe and a mask on his face. I'm Lu Wu, the 3rd leader of the Evil Alliance. I would like to meet Yidi and Rihao. I invited you two here this time because I want to cooperate with you to do something. Caging, wearing a mask, walked towards the two of them. Cooperation, to do something. Why don't you talk about it, Leader Lu? Yidi said. Join hands to kill a person, Li Yunsheng, the master of Xian Temple in Xiangcheng. As long as you two are willing to help, I, Evil Alliance, will send a divine style secret scroll. Caging said. Divine style secret scroll? Hearing Caging's words, Yidi and Rihao looked at each other, and a gleam of light flashed in their eyes. Although they have not been in this world for a long time, they have understood the realm of warriors in this world. His current strength is at the stage of Dunshan turning into C, and Rihao's strength is also at this stage. To be honest, he has some ideas about C concentration, but he always feels that there are some things he doesn't understand. Previously, they were going to return to Lingnan County to ask Gu Santang and Zhu Wusi. But if they could get the Divine Scroll here, then he might not have to ask Gu Santang and Zhu Wusi. As for the person to be killed, the master of Xi'an Temple, Li Yunsheng, this person is not simple. His true identity is a bit exaggerated. He is the first master of Emperor Zhao of the Great Zhao dynasty. Unexpectedly, the Evil Alliance made a move to kill this person. Of course, if the identity of the person to be killed was not ordinary, the Evil Alliance would not have taken out the Divine Scroll. Are you challenging the bottom line of Emperor Zhao? Although Emperor Yi wanted to get the Divine Scroll, in his heart, he kept a calm mind. Guess the purpose of the other part is doing so. Emperor Yi, it's indeed as you said. We just want to challenge the bottom line of Emperor Zhao and see if Emperor Zhao will ever come out of the Imperial Palace. Keijing said in a deep voice. This is why you are in Xiangcheng. Emperor Yi looked at Keijing and said, that's not the reason. Even if we cooperate, can Yi and Rifu join hands with me to kill Li Yunsheng today? It's a bit unrealistic. After all, many people know that you have come to Xiangcheng. Once you kill Li Yunsheng, your Xian'ai Pavilion and Jinfengxiayu Tower in the capital will be destroyed in an instant. Although our Zimeng is ruthless, we won't treat our allies like this, Keijing said. Humph, I didn't expect that the people of Zimeng are so loyal. It's really surprising. Just as Keijing finished speaking, an old man in a purple and gold robe flashed and flew over the pavilion, looking at Keijing with cold eyes. Xian Jianzi, Sita Sheng, I didn't expect you to come. Looking at the old man who appeared, Keijing said in a deep voice. They were still discussing this Sita Sheng last night, but they didn't expect to meet him today. I didn't expect you to know me. That means we may know each other. I really want to see your true face under the mask. And you actually tried to join forces with the Evil Alliance to attack the Emperor's master. Today I will kill you to shock the majesty of my great Zhao. Sita Sheng's tone was very cold. He knew a lot of things. Although he knew that it was the Emperor who allowed these people to stir up trouble, the Emperor would not tolerate these people and test the Emperor. So these people deserve to die. He didn't think about arresting people because he didn't need to know what was behind these people. While speaking, a layer of black blood appeared on his body, which looked like burning black flames. The surging breath flowed through his body, forming a hazy black figure. The figure exuded a bloodthirsty breath. Seeing this, Emperor Knight and Future quickly gathered together. This person's strength was above the two of them. I'm afraid they need to join forces to get rid of the enemy. But when he looked at Keijing, who was wearing a black robe and a mask, did not reveal any breath on his body, and his eyes were also unusually calm, as if he didn't care about Sita Sheng who appeared. Sita Sheng, do you think I'm not on guard against you? Xianjian Division, Ni Jiansha, one of the three elders of Xianjian Division, was killed. You can go to accompany him, Keijing said coldly. While he was talking, a figure slowly walked towards this side not far from the pavilion. The figure was also dressed in black and wore a mask on his face. The black clothes on his body were slowly flowing with ripples of energy, which could turn into waves at any time. The eyes exposed on the mask of this person revealed a sense of hostility, and a scarlet murderous intent was revealed between the opening and closing of his eyes. Seeing this person appear, Sita Sheng's face changed, and he said in a deep voice, "You are a member of the Blood Demon sect. How is it possible? The master wiped out all of your Blood Demon sect back then. How can there be remnants of the Blood Demon sect? Do you think Zhu Pingsheng has the ability to eliminate my Blood Demon sect?" The man snorted coldly. "Sita Sheng, you were a knife in Zhu Pingsheng's hand back then. If I kill you today, I think Zhu Pingsheng will be restless. I was just in case before, but I didn't expect to hook you. God has never let me down." The masked man said this, and his killing intent became stronger. His body turned into a bloody light and rushed towards Sita Sheng. Boom. Sita Sheng also slapped out with his palm. After the two of them exchanged a few moves on the waterside pavilion, their bodies landed on an open space not far away. After landing, the masked man kicked the ground with his foot, suppressed the air with his body, and shot towards Sita Sheng violently. His palms clenched into fists, and the fists shot out in all directions. Blood murder, 5 extreme kills. The masked man shouted, and his body turned into 5 figures, and these 5 figures attacked Sita Sheng at the same time. Situ Sheng's eyes condensed. Among these 5 figures, he couldn't tell which one was the real one. Boom. Since he couldn't find it, he would just use the divine style. As he started, his aura changed, and the blood-colored figure that was formed by the blood and ki in his body appeared, and a huge momentum went towards the 5 figures. One of the figures seemed to be affected. At this moment, Situ Sheng sneered, his eyes flashed, and he touched the ground with his feet, jumped up, and raised his palm to form a knife. God style, March knife slash. With one knife, the knife light was like the moon, and it was divided into 3 knife shadows that gathered together, with great power. Swish. The figure was directly split into 2. But no blood spurted out, and Situ Sheng's pupils suddenly shrank. At this moment, one of the 5 figures had appeared in front of him, and his palm fell towards his heart. Chapter 443, Caging's Viciousness, Situ Sheng's Death. Seeing this, Situ Sheng's ki surged, and the violent ki formed a shield on him. When the man in black put his palm on the other's chest, his eyes condensed, but then the ki on his palm erupted like a volcano. The powerful force shook Situ Sheng back. Situ Sheng's body crashed into the corridor by the river and the corridor collapsed directly. Puff. Situ Sheng, who flew back, spit out a mouthful of blood. But it was not fatal. He rushed out of the broken corridor and stared at the masked man in black with a sinister look. Blood Demon Wuji, you are the Blood Demon sect, the left protector He Yisheng. Didn't you have your heart veins broken by Lord Zu's palm? Situ Sheng looked at the masked man and said, his eyes full of disbelief. Many people can change their faces, but they can't change their own cultivation methods. Situ Sheng recognized the identity of the masked man. I didn't expect that someone still remembered me, He Yisheng. Of course, Zhu Pingsheng did break my heart meridian, but I didn't die. Are you surprised? It's okay to tell you. Back then, I practiced the Buddhist meditation of closing my heart. When Zhu Pingsheng attacked me, I used the meditation of closing my heart and cut off my heart meridian. Of course, it was only a short-term self-cutting of my heart meridian, which allowed me to escape. The man wearing a mask took off the mask on his face. A very ordinary face, nothing special. If there is anything special, it is only his eyes. The eyes are deep and sharp. I didn't expect you to be able to deceive the adults. Situ Sheng's eyes became gloomy. I didn't expect that coming to arrest someone would put himself in trouble. His eyes turned, his body moved, and he wanted to leave, but the black-clothed He Yisheng also moved, and his aura locked the other party. If the other party moved, he would burst out with a fierce attack. But He Yi's expression was also very solemn. Although he just succeeded in one blow, it is not so absolute to say that he can kill the other party. The opponent's strength is only a little bit lower than his, and he can escape if he can't beat him. With the opponent's strength, if he escapes, it is indeed difficult for him to take him down. Being stared at by He Yisheng, Situ Sheng's eyes became even gloomier. As soon as he moved just now, the opponent locked his figure, which meant that he didn't want to let him leave. Looking at this situation, Situ Sheng's eyes flashed, his figure flew into the air, and he raised his palm and attacked He Yisheng with his palm. Blood Sea and Blue Wave Palm. The palm probed the energy, and the blood energy surged, and with a rumbling and amazing momentum, it attacked He Yisheng. Seeing this, He Yisheng also punched out. The fist force gathered on the fist, forming a huge airwave that collided with Situ Sheng's palm. Bang! This time the two people were not much different in the head-on confrontation. But after the collision, Situ Sheng's mouth spilled blood again. He Yisheng, I didn't expect that in 15 years, your strength could reach the level of sea concentration. I remember that, when we destroyed your blood demon sect, your strength was just like mine, and you had just entered the Danshan transformation to sea stage. I didn't expect that you actually broke through to the sea concentration on your own. Situ Sheng looked at He Yisheng with some surprise on his face. But even so, if I'm injured, you may not be able to keep me. Situ Sheng looked at He Yisheng and said, it seems that He Yisheng's strength should not be too strong in the sea concentration. Emperor Knight watched the two people fighting and sent a message to Future. Of course, the strength of these two people put a lot of pressure on him. He and Future teamed up to fight against either Situ Sheng or He Yisheng without any problem. There are so many people here, can't we keep you? Emperor Knight, and future. The other party just wanted to kill you. Now you can join forces to kill him together. He Yishin turned to Emperor Knight and future. Hearing this, Emperor Knight and future fell silent. Emperor Knight and future, if you join me to kill the people of Evil Alliance, I heavenly supervision cannot ask about your affairs. At this time, Sita Sheng thought of something and spoke. Whatever we do, we don't need you heavenly supervision to ask. Emperor Knight said coldly. While speaking, he and future turned around and appeared in one place. And Caging, wearing a mask, appeared in another place. They formed a triangle and surrounded each other. Seeing this, Sita Sheng's face changed. He didn't expect that Emperor Knight and future actually wanted to be enemies with him heavenly supervision. Kill you, who knows it's us. Killing you is a member of Evil Alliance, it has nothing to do with us. What do you two say? Emperor Knight looked at Caging and Yishin. Of course, we Evil Alliance will take responsibility for this matter, and it just so happens that we Evil Alliance want to expand our momentum. Caging said. You guys. Listening to the conversation between the two, Sita Sheng's face turned cold, and he suddenly moved towards Caging. Caging's side was the weakest among the three groups, and it was also the best position for him to break through. He shot out at a very fast speed. Caging had been on guard against the opponent. At the moment, when the opponent attacked, he took the lead, raised his palms and slapped out. Sita Sheng's eyes condensed. He didn't expect that the opponent would dare to confront him head on. His palm unconsciously touched the opponent's palm. But when they touched, the key in his palm was directly pierced. The two sharp steel needles in Caging's hand pierced his key and penetrated into his palm. Ah! Sita Sheng screamed, but the strong key leaked out and also shook Caging away. The arm that Caging slapped out broke and blood spurted out. But Caging didn't take it seriously. A blood-colored force appeared on his arm, and this blood-colored force carried a trace of vitality, which quickly repaired his arm, and soon the burst meridians in his arm were restored to their original state. As for his face, he couldn't see clearly with the mask on. Sita Sheng, who screamed, suddenly spit out a mouthful of blood and moved towards Caging. But at this time, Yishin had already taken action and rushed over. Sita Sheng, who had taken action, suddenly turned his body and raised his palm. The steel needle nailed on his palm instantly shot towards Yishin, and his palm became a claw, and he grabbed Yishin with one claw. On his fingers, a cold breath emanated, forming a cold light, and the speed was also very fast. Yidi and Rihao saw this scene and were also shocked. From this attack, it can be seen that the opponent's target is not Caging but Yishin. Sita Sheng knew very well that it was useless to kill the black-clothed man who blocked him in front of him. Only by severely injuring Yishin could he get out of the predicament. Yishin had just dodged the steel needle when he saw Sita Sheng's sharp palm grabbing his right shoulder. Once caught, Yishin's right arm would be broken. At that time, Sita Sheng could chase and further injure the opponent. Whoosh! At this time, Emperor of the Night made a move, and the violent palm force formed a huge energy, attacking the opponent's palm. He didn't want to injure the opponent, but just wanted to delay the speed of the opponent's palm grabbing. As long as the speed was delayed, he believed that Yishin would have time to kill Sita Sheng. Chapter 444, Mirren King Chen's Dilemma, Jiangnan Kixing Tang Mirren Family. Sita Sheng's palm was slightly paused by a burst of energy. In the moment of pause, Yishin swung out a palm, blood and energy bursting out of his palm, and hit Sita Sheng's chest again. Under this blow, Sita Sheng flew backwards. After the blow was successful, Yishin stepped forward and quickly hit Sita Sheng's head with his palm. Sita Sheng, who was seriously injured, could not resist this blow at all. Bang! Blood flew all over his head. The body fell to the ground. Thank you for your help just now, Evil Alliance. Today's matter, we, Evil Alliance, will take full responsibility, and we will give you the divine style of the Sea Concentration Strongman before we cooperate, as a reward for your help today. If you kill Li Yunsheng, we, Evil Alliance, will pay this reward separately. I don't know what, Evil Alliance, and, future want. We want 100,000 taels of gold. Evil Emperor looked at Yishin and said. Just now, He made a move, which actually meant that he agreed to cooperate, and it was tacitly understood. 100,000 taels of gold. Hearing this, Chen looked at Caging. The money of Evil Alliance was all transferred through Caging. He didn't have much concept about money. When Caging heard what GD said, his brows under the mask frowned slightly. 100,000 taels of gold looked like about 1 million taels of silver, but gold was very rare. Moreover, it was difficult to collect so much gold in a short period of time. In addition, if gold was collected, the other party might know the circulation channel of gold and find out something. After all, the normal circulation was silver. Gold is a bit difficult. I'm willing to pay 2 million taels of silver. Caging looked at GD and said. While speaking, 4 silver bills appeared in his hand. These 4 silver bills can be used in money houses across the Great Zhao dynasty. Caging said. Okay, both of you, wait for my notification on who will make the move. How do we contact you? Yudi said. This is one of my contact points. After Yudi selects the members, he will contact us. However, it is best to have a Danshan who are Hei Realm strongmen. I'm afraid that ordinary Shinran Jiunan strongmen will be in danger. A note appeared in Caging's hand and he threw it directly to Yudi. Yudi sucked it with his palm and then left quickly with Day. Looking at the 2 people who left, this Shianaya pavilion is not weak and useful to us. For the time being, we should focus on peace. Take the body away and deal with it. Don't leave it here. Chen said. I know, I will deal with this body and no one will know how he died. You go back first. Caging glanced at Sita Sheng's body lying on the ground. Okay. Chen nodded and turned to leave. After he left, Caging carried Sita Sheng's body and left directly. After they left, several figures appeared in the manor. Seeing the traces of fighting around and a few pools of blood on the ground, but no body, his expression suddenly changed. If something happens, tell the adults about this. After that, they left quickly. One day later, news came out in the capital that Sita Sheng, one of the 3 elders of the Xianjian division and a strong man who could concentrate his mind in the sea, died in the hands of the second leader of the Evil Alliance. As soon as this information came out, there was an uproar in the capital. On the other side, Caging gave 2 million silver notes and some information about the third and second leaders of the Evil Alliance appeared in front of Bei Chalfi. He casually took out 2 million silver notes. This person's identity should not be simple. Bei Chalfi looked at the information sent by Yi and said in a deep voice. His eyes then fell on the information of He Yisheng, the left protector of the Blood Demon sect. He Yisheng, the second leader of the Evil Alliance, a strong man who could concentrate his mind in the sea. Split the 2 million silver notes and exchange them on the market. Don't let anyone find out the source of the silver notes. Send them to Jiangnan, Wuki Villa, and let him send them to Boss Kaio. Bei Chaofui said. Originally, I wanted to wait until the money from the money gang was in hand, before transferring it away. Now that we have silver here, it is more appropriate to transfer it away first. Bei Chaofui said to Malin Rangan. Also, help me find a few pictures of famous people in Jiangnan. I want to give them to Nanjinlan. Bei Chaofui said in a deep voice. When he met Nanjinlan yesterday, this guy didn't want martial arts skills, elixirs, or money, but only paintings made by famous people in Jiangnan. The pictures of famous people in Jiangnan are very expensive. This Nanjinlan is really calculating. Nalan Rangan said. Compared with Bei Chaofui's happiness. At this time, Miran Qingchen's face was extremely ugly. She didn't expect that Mr. Situ would make a move, and there would be an accident. Now there is only one old man left among the 3 elders, and his strength has barely entered the Danshan transformation sea. It can be said that her strength has been weakened by more than a little bit. She now doesn't know how to communicate with the former Sisu. 2 elders were killed and injured in a row. Get ready, I'll go to see Sisu. Miran Qingchen said. Judging from the current situation, her forces are completely unable to deal with the Evil Alliance, and she needs to pay a visit to the previous division master. Also, I have drafted a letter here, and you have someone send it to Lingnan County to Su Chen. Miran Qingchen took out a letter from his bosom and handed it to Kwei who was standing beside him. In this situation, she really wanted to see if Su Chen could provide him with some help. Yes. Wei took Mirren Chen's letter, put it in her bosom, lowered her head, and a glimmer of light flashed in her eyes. At this time, Mirren Chen stepped out of the room. Go to the place where the former division master Zhu Pingsheng lived. Outside the Great Wall. After the East Pavilion took down the Qianshan sect, the personnel of the Ghost Domain quickly entered the Qianshan sect stronghold. The original Qianshan sect became the Ghost Domain, and Du Guwudi was still the domain master of the Ghost Domain, occupying the North Mountain, and the mountain master of the South Mountain was Guan Qi. It was not Gu Santong who occupied the main peak, but Zhu Wusi, the deputy pavilion master of the East Pavilion of Xian'ai Pavilion, and his 4 elders. Gu Santong disappeared. Rosewood Palace. In Mu Qingsu's courtyard. Mu Qingsu was in a good mood after she knew that Qianshan sect was destroyed by Xian'ai Pavilion, and people from Qinglang society also took action. This way, no one would come to threaten her. Compared with her, the people in Rosewood Palace were in a panic. In the hall, the elders of Rosewood Palace gathered together, and the palace master of Rosewood Palace was standing in the hall with a gloomy face. Now, let's talk about it. The Ghost Domain has occupied Qianshan sect. What should we do next? They in Rosewood Palace had previously surrendered to Qianshan sect, hoping to use the hands of Qianshan sect to enter the pass, but they did not expect that Qianshan sect was destroyed by the mysterious Xian'ai Pavilion. This put them in a passive situation. Palace Master, when we surrendered to the Qianshan sect before, we made enemies with the Jinfeng Xiaoyu Tower in Qingcheng. Although the Qianshan sect occupied the East Pavilion of Xian'ai Pavilion, not the North Pavilion, they may have some opinions about our Zitan Palace. When we surrendered to the Qianshan sect before, we had already transported most of the resources to Jiangnan. Now we can completely abandon the Zitan Palace here and build a new one in Jiangnan. I have contacted Mirren Xingchen, the 3rd young master of the Mirren family of the Jiangnan 7-star hall. He can help us establish a new Zitan Palace there. He can also let us depend on their 7-star hall, but in addition to the original remuneration, he also wants to meet Mu Qingsu. The speaker was a middle-aged man with a sinister face and a cold light in his eyes. Chapter 445. Who are you, kid? Why are you here? Jiang Hemming, what do you mean? Hearing this, the middle-aged man standing on the other side said sternly, Elder Mu, you gave birth to a good daughter, you should feel honored. The man called Jiang Hemming looked at the middle-aged man who spoke and said, in his heart, he secretly said, I mentioned your daughter many times in front of Mirren Xingchen, and Mirren Xingchen only thought about meeting your daughter. Otherwise, why would he like your daughter? There are 3 factions in the Red Sand Palace, among which the Palace Master's faction is the largest, and the others are the Jiang family faction and the Mu family faction. The Mu family is headed by the ancestor of the Mu family. The one who just spoke out to refute was Mu Qingsu's father, Mu Tan, an elder of the Red Sand Palace. As for Jiang Hemming, who spoke earlier, there was some personal hatred between him and Mu Tan, so when he contacted the 7 Stars Hall, he specifically mentioned Mu Qingsu. Why is it an honor? Why don't you send your daughter to Mirren Xingchen? Mu Tan said coldly. If the other party likes my daughter, what if I send my daughter to Mr. Murong? Now my Red Sand Palace needs help from the 7 Stars Hall, and your daughter can find a good family. This is a good thing. That kills 2 birds with 1 stone. You should be happy, Jiang Hemming said. Although he said so, Jiang Hemming sneered in his heart. Mu Qingsu is very beautiful, but there are so many beauties in Jiangnan. Mirren Xingchen is a playboy with countless confidants around him. After a while, he will forget Mu Qingsu. This is why he is not worried. Otherwise, if the Mu family uses Mirren Xingchen, it will threaten the position of their Jiang family. I will not agree to this, Mu Tan said. Previously, Mu Qingsu was introduced to the Qianshan sect, and now Mu Qingsu is introduced to the 7 Stars Hall in Jiangnan. This is simply giving their daughter as a gift. When he finished speaking, Mu Tan looked at the palace master of the Red Sand Palace in the middle. The palace master of the Red Sand Palace had a calm expression. He agreed in his heart, but he would not say these words openly. He looked at Mu Dongyan, the ancestor of the Mu family. Palace Master, Qingsu had previously retreated from Su Chen of the Qinglang Society, and was later betrothed to the Qianshan sect. It is not suitable for her to meet Mr. Mirren again. Mu Dongyun, the ancestor of the Mu family, said. Although he understood what Palace Master Zatan meant, he could not agree. He was forced to agree to the marriage with the Xianshan sect before, and now he wanted him to agree to meet Mireng Xingchen, which he was unwilling to accept. Hearing the words of the ancestor of the Mu family, a fierce light flashed in Palace Master Zatan's eyes, but he concealed it quickly. He looked at the other side with a calm face. The ancestor of the Jiang family, Jiang Bili. Old man Mu, sacrificing a granddaughter for the Red Sand Palace is what you and I should do. Since Mr. Mireng has taken a fancy to Mu Kingsu, isn't it normal for the two to meet? Maybe once the two meet, Kingsu will have a good impression of Mr. Mireng. I still suggest that Kingsu and Mr. Mireng meet. As for what the final result will be, it depends on their own decision. Jiang Bili said. Jiang Bili's meaning was very clear, just a meeting. Not asking you to send your granddaughter away. Mu Dongyuan wanted to say something, but at this time, a middle-aged man in a brocade robe from the Mu family said, Ancestor, I think there is nothing wrong with letting Kingsu meet Mr. Mireng. The speaker was the second-generation eldest son of the Mu family and Mu Tan's eldest brother, Mu Xianyang. His status in the Mu family is second only to several ancestors, and he can be said to be one of the people in power in the Mu family. In fact, he is in favor of giving Mu Kingsu to Mireng Xingchen. Mireng Xingchen, the young master of Jiangnan 7-star Hall. The power of Jiangnan 7-star Hall is spread all over Jiangnan, and its strength and power are extremely strong. If they can hold this thigh, their Mu family will be able to gain a foothold in Jiangnan, and become the next generation of the Red Sandalwood Palace Master. So he spoke, Brother Yu. Seeing this, Mu Tan looked at him with incredible eyes. But Mu Xianyang did not look at him. It's just a meeting. I think Kingsu is willing. Regarding the matter of the Palace Master, we and the Mu family will persuade Kingsu. Mu Xianyang said directly. Mu Tan looked at the ancestor of the Mu family. Mu Dongyuan wanted to say something, but the fourth ancestor of the Mu family beside him said, Brother, I also agree with Xianyang. Since the Mu family has agreed, let's transfer resources as soon as possible and leave the frontier. The master of Zatan Palace spoke at this time and turned and left. Although Zatan Palace had transferred a lot of resources before, there were still a lot left, which was also an important task. Inside the hall, Jiang Heming walked to Mu Tan. I will slowly settle with you about what happened in the past when I get to Jiangnan. The voice was very low. After speaking, he followed the people of the Jiang family out of the hall. Brother, why did you do this? Mu Tan walked up to Mu Xianyang and said coldly, this is the best choice for our Mu family. Jiangnan Xingtang is the connection of the Jiang family, but it has no friendship with our Mu family. Kingsu side is the best opportunity for us to catch up with the Mireng family, which is most beneficial to our Mu family. You don't have to go to Kingsu's work. I will ask my third sister and her aunt to persuade her. You don't have to worry about it. After saying that, Mu Xianyang turned around and left. Inside the hall, only Mu Tan was left, and his face was not good. In Mu Kingsu's courtyard, besides Mu Kingsu, there was another person, Su Chen, who came to the outside of the Great Wall. Now that the Xianshan sect in the outside of the Great Wall has been destroyed, a force like the Red Sandalwood Palace is no longer a force in his eyes, so he came to see Mu Kingsu. After all, he was the one who took the first drop of blood of Mu Kingsu. Since he came to the outside of the Great Wall, of course he had to come to see Mu Kingsu. People can be affectionate, but they cannot be ruthless. I didn't expect you to come to see me. Mu Kingsu looked at Su Chen in white, her beautiful eyes showing surprise and joy. The current Su Chen is not the same Su Chen as before. The leader of the 9 northern counties, the young leader of the Qinglang Society. Any of these identities can suppress their Zatan Palace. Didn't you hear that someone is targeting you? So I came here in person to help you solve this problem. Su Chen looked at Mu Kingsu and said. Hearing Su Chen's words, Mu Kingsu was stunned. She didn't expect Su Chen to say such a thing. Mu Kingsu has been showing a kind of sadness recently because of the marriage of Xianshan sect. Compared with the previous cold and arrogant, there is a feeling of pity. Surprised? Looking at Mu Kingsu's expression, Su Chen couldn't help but ask. I thought you were always domineering. In Mu Kingsu's memory, Su Chen was unreasonable. He controlled himself and took away her virginity directly. Although affected by the insect, Mu Qingsu's thoughts and mind still had her own judgment, and her feelings for Su Chen were a bit complicated. Qingsu, I heard that you are going to be given to young Master Mireng of Jiangnan Qixingtang. You are really popular. Otherwise, you should obey me first. You don't have to give it to young Master Mireng then. At this time, a frivolous and arrogant voice sounded outside the courtyard. Then a figure appeared at the door of the courtyard. It was a young man in a brocade robe, with an obscene smile on his face, striding towards the courtyard. Seeing Su Chen in the courtyard, the young man was stunned at first, and then roared, "Boy, who are you? How come you are here?" The voice was rough, but he responded with a knife light, which passed across his face like drizzle. In an instant, a blood mark appeared between his eyebrows. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 446. The extremely arrogant Su Chen kills 2 people with 2 swords. The young man who made the noise, the original roar, disappeared. He felt something flowing between his eyebrows, and he raised his hand and wiped it unconsciously. A sticky feeling appeared in the center of his palm. He couldn't help but take a look in front of himself. It was blood. His eyes were wide open, and he didn't believe what he saw. "You." After he said this, his body fell directly to the ground. Behind him, there were several people, all wearing the clothes of Zitan Palace disciples. They just saw a flash of knife light. Jiang Yuan pointed at the young man standing in the courtyard, said this, and fell directly to the ground. One person quickly came to Jiang Yuan to check what was going on. But when he looked at Jiang Yuan's body, he saw the scar on his forehead. His face changed drastically, and he looked at Su Chen. "You killed Jiang Yuan. Jiang Yuan is the 3rd son of Elder Jiang Hemming." He looked terrified. After hearing this, several people behind him quickly fled, shouting, "Murder! Murder!" The figure disappeared quickly, probably to report, "Killing him is still a bit of an insult to my sword," Su Chen said calmly. Su Chen didn't care at all about the elder's disciple. He didn't care about the entire Zitan Palace, so why should he care about the disciple of an elder? "You." The man who spoke was horrified when he saw Su Chen say that. This man was too arrogant. He didn't take the Jiang family seriously at all, or didn't take the Zitan Palace seriously. His expression seemed a little angry, but in his anger, he was secretly thinking about the other party's identity. He didn't take the Jiang family and Zitan Palace seriously. The other party's identity must be extraordinary. He didn't think the other party was a shaman. "Who is it that speaks so arrogantly?" A cold voice sounded in the courtyard. A woman in a white dress walked in from outside the courtyard. The woman's face was okay, but her face was the same as Mu Qingsu when he met her before, a little cold and arrogant. Behind her was a middle-aged woman in a purple dress, who was the aunt who persuaded Mu Qingsu before. Aunt, why are you here? And what about Mr. Mireng, that Jiang Yuan just mentioned?" Mu Qingsu asked as she looked at the 2 people who appeared. One was her aunt, Mu Wanxiang, and the other was her aunt, Qiu Sutang. "You killed Jiang Yuan, and you are still talking nonsense." Mu Wanxiang looked at Su Chen and asked coldly. Although she didn't like Jiang Yuan, and hoped that Jiang Yuan would die, Jiang Yuan couldn't die here, and couldn't be related to Mu Qingsu. "I'm telling the truth. Why are you talking nonsense? And if you have nothing to do with Mu Qingsu, there will be one more body lying on the ground." Hearing Su Chen's words, Mu Wanxiang's eyes became sharp, and she looked at Su Chen coldly. Her palms moved slightly, which seemed like she couldn't help but take action. "If you move, you will die." When Su Chen spoke, a trace of murderous intent burst out of his eyes. The first time, he could do it for Mu Qingsu's sake, but there would definitely be no second time. Sensing the murderous intent bursting out of Su Chen, Mu Wanxiang's heart trembled, as if her heart was locked. She tried to sense the other party's breath, but couldn't sense it. Could it be that the other party's strength is at the level of a celestial being? Mu Wanxiang was shocked. As for Su Chen, he didn't look at her again. He hadn't even reached the level of a celestial being. It was just a matter of a knife in front of him. Not far from Su Chen, Mu Qingsu saw this and immediately stepped forward and said, "Aunt, who is he? She doesn't deserve to know my name yet." Su Chen would not indulge an old woman and said in a cold voice, "Arrogant, too arrogant." In the yard, except for Mu Qingsu, everyone looked at Su Chen with eyes that this person was too arrogant. "Qingsu, is this the one?" At this time, Mu Qingsu's aunt stepped forward and asked. She knew that Mu Qingsu was no longer a virgin, so she knew that Su Chen existed. Of course, Mu Qingsu had never told her Su Chen's name. Mu Qingsu nodded. Since Su Chen was here, there was no need to hide the things between her and Su Chen. Seeing Mu Qingsu say this, Qiu Suiting looked at Su Chen with her beautiful eyes. Su Chen was handsome, and he exuded a sense of superiority. From this point, it can be seen that Su Chen's identity is not simple. But no matter what the other party is like, this is the Rosewood Palace. The Rosewood Palace will definitely maintain the dignity of the Jiang family. Jiang Yuan is the disciple of Elder Jiang. If you kill him, the Jiang family will never let it go. I think you should leave first. Qiu Suiting said. They won't let it go, so what? Su Chen will not leave. The strongest person in the Rosewood Palace is only in the 8 difficulties of heaven and man. With such strength, even the 4 ghosts of Xiangxi beside him can crush him. Why should he leave? Seeing Su Chen's overbearing words, Mu Qingsu stepped forward and said, "Aunt, it's okay. If the Jiang family wants to explain anything, let them come to me. No need to trouble the rest of the Mu family. Qingsu, you can't be alone with him. The family has decided to let you go to Jiangnan to meet Mireng, young Master Mireng of the Mireng family. As long as we get in touch with the Mireng family, our Zatan Palace can gain a foothold in Jiangnan and seek development, and our Mu family can also make further progress. Mr. Mireng is the young master of the Jiangnan 7-star hall. He specifically wants to see you." The palace master and the old ancestor have agreed. Mu Wanshang said sternly at this time, and when she spoke, her eyes were still looking at Su Chen. She wanted the 7-star hall Mireng family to precious Su Chen. Young master of Jiangnan 7-star hall, Mireng Xingchen? Su Chen couldn't help but say. Now that his power is deployed in Jiangnan, he certainly knows some things about the Jiangnan 7-star hall. Since you know Mr. Mireng, you also know the gap between you two. Aunt, I will not go to see Mireng Xingchen. If you still have such words, don't say them. Mu Wanshang wanted to say something else, but Mu Qingsu looked at Mu Wanshang with a bad look. She didn't want Su Chen to have any misunderstandings. She had previously revealed that she was marrying the Xianchen sect, and now she was going to see Mireng Xingchen. How would Su Chen think? Su Chen looked at Mu Qingsu at this time. He didn't expect that Mu Qingsu was so popular. However, beautiful women are always popular, so he wouldn't have any guesses. Mireng Xingchen really can't compare with me. When everyone was silent, Su Chen said this lightly. You. Mu Wanshang was interrupted by Mu Qingsu and gave her a cold look. She was in a bad mood. Now she was a little angry when she heard Su Chen say this, and she couldn't speak for a while. At this time, who is it who killed my son? An angry, low, and cold voice sounded outside the courtyard. Jiang Yuan's father, Jiang Hemming, has a personal grudge against my father. Mu Qingsu said in a voice transmission. After the voice appeared, a figure rushed into the courtyard in an instant. Seeing Jiang Yuan with a knife mark on his forehead, Jiang Hemming's face became cold and fierce. It was him. He killed him. Junior brother Jiang, the disciple of Zatan Palace who spoke earlier, said, "Little bastard, you killed my son. I want you dead." Jiang Yuan looked at Su Chen with a cold gaze. His eyes were like a knife, and his face was extremely ferocious. As soon as he stepped on the ground, his figure shot out and slapped Su Chen with a palm. He wanted to kill Su Chen first to relieve the hatred in his heart. "You want to kill me too?" When he made a move, Su Chen's figure also moved, and his speed was faster than him. This Jiang Hemming was stronger than the third master of the Mu family he had seen before, and his strength was almost close to the difficulty of heaven and man. However, this strength was only a matter of a knife in front of Su Chen. This time, Su Chen's knife was not like a drizzle, but fierce like a waterfall, and the knife light suddenly rose. Jiang Hemming, who had thrown the palm, was directly cut into 2 halves by a knife. Blood spurted out and sprayed on some people's faces like rain. Chapter 447. Continue to kill. Mu Kingsu takes charge of the Rosewood Palace. Jiang Heming was split in half with a single knife, and blood spurted out. This scene was shocking. The people from the Red Sand Palace who came with Jiang Heming were terrified. Mu Wanxiang, who had spoken earlier, looked pale and looked at Su Chen in horror. Her strength was much worse than Jiang Heming. Jiang Heming was also split in half with a single knife. If he had attacked her just now, he would have been killed with a single knife as well. How could you kill Jiang Heming? Although she was shocked, she was terrified in her heart. If the other party killed Jiang Heming, this would be a big deal. Isn't this possible? Su Chen said coldly. At this time, many people had gathered outside the courtyard. Jiang Heming was split in half by Su Chen's knife, and many people saw it. Some people left quickly. Even Mu Kingsu's aunt left at this moment. The matter was too serious, and she had to go back to report it, hoping to save Mu Kingsu. Soon, this matter spread throughout the Red Sand Palace. At this time, the palace master of the Red Sand Palace was discussing the follow-up matters with Jiang Bili, the ancestor of the Jiang family. A figure running quickly. Palace master, ancestor, Heming and Jiang Yuan were killed by a knife. The person who came was a clan member of the same generation as Jiang Heming of the Jiang family. He said in panic. What did you say? Hearing this, the palace master of the Red Sand Palace and Jiang Bili looked at the person who came at the same time. Especially Jiang Bili, he flashed in front of this person. You should make your words clear. Ancestor, a young man came to Mu Kingsu's courtyard. He killed Jiang Yuan first. Heming went over and was also cut in half by the other party. The person who came hurriedly said. What? He dared to be killed in my Red Sand Palace. This person is too arrogant. The Red Sand Palace master's face sank, and he said sternly, let's go. Jiang Bili came quickly, and the Red Sand Palace master followed him out. The two quickly went to Mu Kingsu's courtyard. At this time, the ancestors of the Mu family and Mu Kingsu's parents had already arrived and entered the courtyard in a panic. So many people appeared in the courtyard. Su Chen looked very calm. He killed Jiang Yuan and Jiang Heming. In fact, to lead out the people of the Jiang family and the palace master of the Red Sand Palace. He was clear about the three forces of the Red Sand Palace. He came here, first to see Mu Kingsu, and second to help Mu Kingsu take the position of the palace master of the Red Sand Palace. As for those who were not convinced, Su Heo planned to clear them all this time. Of course, some people would be cleared, even if they were convinced. When Mu Kingsu's parents came to the courtyard, they saw Su Chen and were stunned. Su Chen was Mu Kingsu's previous marriage partner. They had seen Su Chen's portrait, and their eyes were horrified. After all, they couldn't help but pay attention to Su Chen now. He was the young leader of the Qinglang Society and the leader of the 9 northern counties. He just joined forces with Xian'an Pavilion to destroy Xianshan sect. After they knew these things, they were shocked and regretful. But they didn't expect Su Chen to appear in Mu Kingsu's courtyard. In other words, the person his daughter mentioned earlier was Su Chen. In this situation, they didn't know what to say. Kingsu, what's going on? How come there are outsiders here? Leave the courtyard with me now. Mu Xianyang of the Mu family said coldly. Mu Kingsu was related to the connection between the Mu family and the 7 Stars Hall. He wanted to take Mu Kingsu away from here. In this way, Su Chen's affairs would have nothing to do with their Mu family. She is my woman. How can she leave? How can you order her? Mu Kingsu wanted to speak, but Su Chen said it in advance. Mu Xianyang wanted to say something, but when he saw the corpse lying on the ground, he dared not speak anymore. His strength was only slightly higher than Jiang Heming. Of course, his strength was second only to his ancestor Mu Dongyan. Otherwise, he would not have been Mu Kingsu's boss at that time. However, he did not know Su Chen's identity. Seeing this, Mu Tan immediately sent a message. Brother, Su Chen is the young leader of the Qinglang Society and the leader of the 9 northern counties. After receiving Mu Tan's message, Mu Xianyang's face changed drastically, and his expression was terrified. Qinglang Society is more powerful than Qinglang Temple. Their Red Sandalwood Palace had to live in the frontier because they offended Qinglang Temple, and they did not dare to set foot in the 9 northern counties. The strength of the Red Sandalwood Palace was much stronger than before. The ancestor of the Mu family also knew Su Chen's identity at this moment. He wanted to say something, but he couldn't say it. After all, their Mu family withdrew the engagement first. Now Su Chen appeared here to avenge their Mu family. He didn't know that Mu Kingsu had lost her virginity, so he thought so in his heart. The scene became silent. Who dares to kill my Jiang family? At this time, a low voice appeared outside the courtyard. As soon as he finished speaking, Jiang Bili rushed in. Seeing the corpse on the ground, his eyes turned red, and then he looked in the direction of Su Chen. There was no outsider here except Su Chen. Needless to say, Su Chen was the murderer. No need to look, I killed them. Jiang family ancestor Jiang Bili. Su Chen looked at Jiang Bili and said coldly, "Boy, I'll twist off your head first." When Jiang Bili spoke, his figure soared into the air. He didn't talk nonsense with Su Chen at all. He just wanted to twist off Su Chen's head and then settle accounts with the Mu family. As for the ancestor of the Mu family and Mu Xianyang, they didn't move. Looking at Jiang Bili who was flying in the air, Su Chen didn't move. Jiang Bili's strength was in the 7 difficulties of heaven and man, and he was not his opponent. What's more, he didn't need to take action at this time, and the 4 ghosts of Xiangxi should also take action. Seeing that Su Chen didn't move, Jiang Bili's eyes became more ferocious. He thought that Su Chen was suppressed by his momentum. But when his palm was about to grab Su Chen's head, 4 ghostly figures appeared in front of Su Chen. The 4 figures instantly merged into one. They blocked Jiang Bili's grab. Then the 4 figures separated instantly, and 4 palms hit Jiang Bili's chest. Bang! Jiang Bili's body flew backwards faster than when he attacked, and hit the wall of the courtyard. He spurted out a mouthful of blood, looked at Su Chen, and wanted to say something, but 4 figures appeared in front of him, and their palms fell. Bang! Jiang Bili's head was directly cracked by a palm. He fell to the ground without breath. Whoosh! Whoosh! Then the 4 figures did not stop, and directly killed the people who followed him. These people did not react at all, and fell to the ground. Only the palace master of Zitan Palace was left. He looked horrified. He did not expect these people to kill Jiang Bili and others. He wanted to say something, but the 4 ghosts of Xiangxi had already appeared in front of him. The 4 blurry figures made him unable to tell where the 4 ghosts of Xiangxi were. The sea of Qi is boundless. Seeing this, the Purple Sand Palace Master shouted in a low voice, raised his palm, and rumbled out of his palm like a wave of terrifying Qi. Since he couldn't find anyone, he could only cover it from all directions. When the Qi burst out, a terrifying flame force appeared around the Purple Sand Palace Master. The Qi wanted to force the opponent out, and then kill the opponent with the fiery true Qi he cultivated. Bang! In front of him, the 4 ghosts of Xiangxi, 4 figures merged into one, slapped out with one palm, blocked the attack of the Purple Sand Palace Master, and also rushed towards the Purple Sand Palace Master with a reverse Qi. Seeing this, the Purple Sand Palace Master's expression changed, and his figure retreated. The flame true Qi appeared on his right arm, and then he slashed directly. The huge flame Qi turned into a knife flight of several feet, and slashed at the 4 ghosts of Xiangxi, cut a gap in the Qi that the 4 ghosts of Xiangxi had pushed out before, and swept towards them. When the flaming true Qi was slashed out, the air gave off a burning smell, which showed the sharpness of the knife. This Zitan Palace Master has some strength. Su Chen, who did not make a move, looked at the situation and murmured. As soon as he finished speaking, the 4 ghosts of Xiangxi, 4 shadows came together, and a shadowy palm appeared, which directly combined the flaming knife Qi. Then it shattered. Seeing this, Zitan Palace Master's face changed, and his figure wanted to escape. But the 4 figures were extremely fast, and they appeared in front of the opponent in the blink of an eye. The 4 figures kept changing, and attacked Zitan Palace Master. The strength of Zitan Palace Master was only at the level of the 8 difficulties of heaven and man, and he was no match for the 4 people. He wanted to call for help, but the 4 people did not give him a chance at all. After a few breaths, he was killed by their palms. Seeing this scene, the ancestor of the Mu family and Mu Xianyang changed their expressions. Don't leave anyone from the Jiang family and the Palace Master's lineage. At this time, Su Chen's voice came from the courtyard. A figure left from outside the courtyard. Chapter 448 Beggars Sect. We come from the Beggars Sect. At this time, in Luocheng, Chang County, Jiangnan, it was raining continuously, and the whole air seemed a little humid. In a dilapidated temple, a bonfire was burning. A 9-bag elder and an 8-bag elder were boiling a pot of hot water. The 9-bag elder was named Lu Yaowei, and the 8-bag elder was named Shan Hu. Qiao Feng stood in front of the house, looking at the continuous rain outside. How many people have we gathered in Luocheng now? Qiao Feng asked. Boss, we don't have many beggar gang disciples in Luocheng, about 500 people. Now the plague is spreading a little, and we don't have enough herbs. An 8-bag elder who was carrying a fire said. Have you found out whose mansion the herbs are gathered in now? Qiao Feng said. The leader has found out that the herbs are all gathered in Liao's home in Changjiang County. Liao is a direct descendant of the Jiangnan Lai family. This part of Changjiang County belongs to the Lai family. Lai family, Liao, the 7th prince's mother's family. Recently, they are marrying with the 4 major families in Jiangnan, hoping to increase the Lai family's status in the Jiangnan region. Qiao Feng muttered. This matter should not be likely. The 4 major families in Jiangnan control half of the power in the Jiangnan region. If they marry with the Lai family, they will stand on the side of the 7th prince. It's not time to place a bet yet. They should not choose to do so. This may just be a trick played by the Lai family to deal with the eldest prince's actions in the Jiangnan region. Leader, should we intercept Liao's mansion? Said the 8-bag elder. How many gang members do we have in Chang County now? Qiao Feng asked afterwards. About 3,000 people, plus the 100 disciples we brought earlier. 9-bag elder Lu Yaowei said. With such strength, can we take away the herbs and some disaster relief food from Liao? Qiao Feng asked. Boss, it's very difficult. The governor of Chang County, the city defense barracks outside the city, and the commander of the Southern Pacification Division are all the 7th prince's men. Once something happens to Liao, not only will the governor help, but people from the city defense and the Southern Pacification Division will also show up. And the forces in Luocheng are basically controlled by the Lai family. Once there is a movement, they will also move out. By then, we will suffer heavy losses. Lu Yaowei, the 9 Pockets elder, said in a deep voice. The capital of Chang County, Ancheng, is a very large city with many forces inside and outside the city. The Lai family is in charge of Chang County, so their power here is definitely not small. Herbs and food are not easy to transport. When taking things away, they may be intercepted. Once the interception force is too strong, they will suffer a lot of casualties. Moreover, a large number of beggars will flow into Ancheng, which may also cause some changes. It seems that we have to find a way to get the other party to send the herbs and food outside the city before we can take action. Qiao Feng said in a deep voice. Boss, we can actually buy them. The 1 million taels of silver notes sent by the young master from the capital and the 300,000 taels of silver notes he raised for us privately have all been sent to Chang County. We can use this money to buy herbs from Liao. The 8-bags elder said. According to my observation, Liao hoarded herbs just to make money. He should be different from the person who created the plague. Although they are in collusion, I think Liao will sell those herbs in the face of huge profits. By then, if he takes the money and doesn't sell, the boss and we can personally take action and kill him. By then, I think we can also shock the entire Chang County and make our beggars gang famous. During this time, we can gather more beggars gang disciples, and we can surpass them in momentum. Even if a conflict breaks out, if we don't protect the herbs and fight, the losses will be smaller. The 8-bags elder Shan Hu said. Okay, then we will set off overnight and head to Ancheng. Qiao Feng said. But when he spoke, his eyes slightly condensed. It seems that a friend has come to see us and won't let us go. Qiao Feng said softly. At this time, outside the ruined temple, a group of people wearing straw raincoats were galloping. The leader was 3 people. Soon they stopped outside the ruined temple. Commander, in Luocheng, the beggars are gathered in this ruined temple. Behind the 3 commanders, a person spoke. The forces of Chang County are all under the control of the Lai family, and Qiao Feng and his movements have been mastered. This group of people came to the Lai family from Ancheng, Chang County. The 7th prince and the 1st prince stopped fighting openly, but secretly, the 1st prince was still infiltrating the 7th prince's territory. So the Lai family was very careful. Once a suspicious person appeared, the Lai family would destroy him. This time, although these people provoked beggars who were not as good as mudlegs, there were many people, so they attracted attention. There were 3 commanders from the Lai family. One of them had the rare strength of the 2nd heaven. The other 2 were at the peak of the soul refining. As for the dozen people behind them, they were also in the soul refining realm. The Linoop was luxurious. After all, they were afraid that this was a trap designed by the eldest prince, so they brought so many good players. Kill. The leader shouted. Behind him, dozens of people drew their long swords. They were ready to re-enter the ruined temple. The door of the ruined temple creaked open. Xianhu, wearing a tattered robe, walked out from inside. He held a bamboo stick in his hand, and there were 8 pockets embroidered on the tattered clothes. As if he didn't see the people outside, he walked out of the ruined temple on his own. At this time, a man with a knife went straight towards Xianhu. But when he rushed over with the knife, Xianhu's bamboo stick flashed out and then pulled back. The bamboo stick was placed on the ground, and a trace of blood flowed out from the top of the bamboo stick, mixing with the rain on the ground. You want to fight with a beggar like me? I don't know where I offended you. Xianhu said coldly. What a quick bamboo stick. The leader's eyes flashed with coldness. He didn't even see the other parties move just now. Really? I wonder if you guys can dodge my bamboo stick. Xianhu said coldly. He didn't show his full strength. After all, the strength of the 7 difficulties of heaven and man will still cause a sensation. Kill. Seeing this, the leader's eyes condensed, and the 2 people beside him, and the dozen people behind him attacked Xianhu at the same time. Dozens of soul refining masters attacked, and they were people who often trained together. Even if there was one difficulty for the heaven and man, they were all surrounded and killed. Knife light, rain light, human figure. But a ray of green light cut these figures apart in the blink of an eye. The figures of the dozen people who attacked paused, and then fell to the ground. Blood mixed with rainwater, and the entire ground was formed into blood water. The leader's face changed, and a long knife appeared in his hand, and he instantly attacked Xianhu. When the knife was out, a black light appeared in the knife, tearing the rainwater, and attacking Xianhu. You're still too slow. But before his knife arrived, Xianhu appeared in front of him, raised the bamboo stick in his hand, held the end of the bamboo stick, and pierced the opponent's throat directly. Who are you? The leader covered his pierced throat and said hoarsely. Beggars sect. We are from the beggars sect. Xianhu's voice rang in his ears. Chapter 449. Chang County, Lai Family Liao, County Magistrate Liu Kangayao. Chang County, County City Lai Mansion. The golden characters are very dazzling, and the mansion is like a garden. Behind an arched wall is a waterside viewing platform. There is a small pond around. The water is clear. Now is the day of spring flowers, red carp swimming in the pond. A young man in a golden robe is feeding these carp. Suddenly, not far away, a figure rushed over. The young man put down the glass bowl in his hand and turned to look at the person who came. Master, something happened. The secret guard sent by the main mansion died in Luocheng. Commander Li who is on the way. The person who came was an old man. Why didn't you notify me when the secret guards of the main mansion came to Chang County? The young man asked in a deep voice. This young man was Liao of the Lai family in Chang County. They came to deal with some small fish, so they didn't notify us. I checked here, and found that they went to Luocheng to deal with some refugees who were lured to become beggars. The housekeeper said in a deep voice. The refugees who were recruited to become beggars? How many people? Liao asked. The competition among the noble families was also fierce. Liao was able to rule Chang County, not only because he was a direct descendant, but also because he was extraordinary. So the first thing he thought of was the number of people. There were about several hundred people, so the secret guards were dispatched. They recruited so many beggars, and wanted to cause trouble. Do you know the losses of the secret guards this time? Lord Li who didn't say in detail, but just said that the leader was a warrior of the heaven and man realm. The housekeeper said the commander of the heaven and man realm was killed. It seems that the other party still has some strength. You should investigate closely. Liao said. When he finished speaking, a figure flew down, wearing a black gauze skirt, with a gorgeous appearance, but with fierce eyes. Lian Ji, why are you here? Seeing the woman fall, Liao couldn't help but ask. My lord, there are two things. The first is that an important person from the Evil Alliance is coming soon. I guess he wants to keep an eye on things here. The second thing is that many beggars have entered Dansheng one after another, and several of them are at the soul refining realm. The woman called Lian Ji reported. The Evil Alliance is cooperating with us, but they still feel uneasy. I don't know what they are worried about. Are they afraid that I will take all the profits? Humph. As for the beggars pouring into the county city, it seems that someone wants to cause trouble in the county government. A group of beggars is not to be feared. Isn't there nothing to do in the county government? It's a good opportunity to give them something to do and let them deal with these beggars. Liao said. Although there are people in the soul refining realm, they did not attract Liao's attention. Master, we'd better deal with this group of beggars ourselves, because these beggars are related to those who killed the secret guards. They came to the county government, maybe they have a purpose for us. Even if we tell the county government, I'm afraid they will just perfunctorily deal with it. My idea is to let these beggars go first and find out their purpose. If the leader shows up, we can catch them all in one fell swoop. The housekeeper on the side said. Hearing the housekeeper's words, Liao nodded and said, inform Uncle Lihu about this matter and let Uncle Lihu come here directly. I really want to see what they can do with these beggars. Liao's loud voice sounded in the viewing platform. At this time, Chang County, outside the county city, a rundown village, in a thatched house. Qiao Feng and Chen who were in it. Boss, we have gradually notified the surrounding gangs to gather here. Elder Lu has sneaked into the city to pick up the silver bills that Mr. Lion sent us. Chen who said, okay, if the Lai family attacks us, then we don't have to stay and can directly destroy the Ansheng Lai family so that the people in Jiangnan will know the existence of my beggars sect. Qiao Feng said. Previously, their plan was to develop in a low-key manner, get medicinal materials from Liao, and continue to recruit some disciples. But now they have been targeted by the Lai family, and Li Hu, one of the leaders of the Lai family's secret guards, has come to Chang County. Kill Li Hu and destroy Liao in Chang County. This is Qiao Feng's current idea. Liao has many people in the Chang County government. Qiao Feng not only wants to kill them, but also take over Liao's industry. Boss, now we are mainly afraid that the county government and the city defense will take action. Once they take action, the ordinary disciples of the beggars sect will not be able to resist at all. Chen who said worriedly, I asked you to mobilize the surrounding gangs to come here, just to cover up the more than 100 gang members we brought with us. Also, let the other gang members who joined our beggars sect see the strength of our beggars sect. In this way, there will be martial arts masters who will join our beggars sect. Qiao Feng said. Now, how can ordinary beggars at the bottom of the society become the world's largest gang? How many days will it take for Elder Jin to arrive? Qiao Feng asked later. Elder Jin is another one of the 8 bag elders like Chen Hu. His name is Jin Yuanling. He was previously sent by Qiao Feng to other cities in Chang County. I will arrive tomorrow. Chen Hu replied. You should pay close attention to the movements in the city, especially the whereabouts of Li Hu. Notify me immediately if there is any news. I'm going to go into the city and meet the governor of Chang County to see if I can get some information from her. Qiao Feng said. The Lai family has controlled Chang County for many years. But since Liao stationed in Chang County, he has been gathering forces and merging them into his personal forces. The governor of Chang County has become a puppet who doesn't want Liao to continue to grow. The governor of Chang County must be one of them. Moreover, the governor of Chang County is different from other counties. The governor of Chang County is a female governor. She has been the governor of Chang County for 3 years. Although they are all the people of the 7th prince, they have fought secretly several times. After all, everyone wants to control Chang County, but the power of the governor is still a little bit less than that of the Lai family. Qiao Feng's purpose is to meet this governor. Yes. Chen Hu nodded. After speaking, Qiao Feng left the thatched cottage and headed towards the county city. The county city is very prosperous. Kao Feng recalled that he had seen the map of the county city and headed towards the direction of the governor's mansion. After a while, Kao Feng appeared outside the mansion of the county. The mansion of the county is not big, but it seems very quiet. In Chang County, the most powerful person is not the governor, but Liao of the Lai family. Inside the mansion of the governor, in the banquet hall, a woman in red was sitting upright. She was about 30 years old and had a curvy figure. However, there was a cold light flashing in her eyes and she exuded a sense of power. Below her, there were 3 women in white. They were pretty and also exuded a sense of coldness. The woman in red sitting upright was the governor of Chang County, Liu Qingyao. The 3 women in white were 3 of her 9 personal guards. Sir, we have investigated and found that the recent influx of beggars all came from a force called the Beggars Gang. This force is gathering people. The number of people who have turned from refugees to beggars is expanding rapidly. One of the 3 said. Beggars have been gathered and the number has increased, but these people are just ordinary people. They can be killed by poisoning them. If you want to cause public outrage and make trouble, it will be useless without a strong man. Can you find out who is behind these beggars? Liu Qingyao said lazily. I haven't found out yet, but I got the news that the Lai family's secret guard suffered a loss at the hands of the person behind this beggar. The Lai family's Li who came from the master's side. Now these beggars are pouring into the city. I'm afraid they are coming for the Lai family. The person who spoke earlier said. They are coming for the Lai family. Hearing this, Liu Qingyao's eyes flashed. Investigate secretly and help me find the person behind this group of beggars. Maybe I can use this to get rid of the suppression of the Lai family. Liu Qingyao said. Chapter 450. Everyone is gathered. It's time to start. Sir, Susu and the others are investigating, and I believe they will find the other party soon, said the woman. When she finished speaking, Liu Qingyao, who was originally lazy, suddenly changed her expression and looked in one direction. Liu Junshao is indeed extraordinary. Kao Feng jumped down directly. Just as he jumped down, the 3 women in white clothes below Liu Qingyao stepped on the ground at the same time, and the cold light flashed in their hands. 3 long swords with cold light went towards Kao Feng at the same time. The sword energy was sharp, and the action was fast, and the 3 people moved in unison. Seeing this, Kao Feng raised his palm and waved his sleeves, directly wrapping the 3 people's long swords. In addition, a burst of energy burst out from his body and pressed on the 3 people, carrying the 3 people's figures, and fell into the banquet hall. Who are you? Seeing Kao Feng so easily take down her 3 men, Liu Qingyao's face was serious. Didn't County Magistrate Liu mention me just now? I'm Kao Feng, the leader of the beggars sect. Kao Feng pulled back his sleeves and took back the energy that was pressing on the 3 people. The 3 women did not move again, but quickly came to Liu Qingyao's side. The leader of the beggars sect, Kao Feng. Liu Qingyao stood up and looked at Kao Feng with a gleam in her beautiful eyes. It seems that leader Kao has been here for a while, so let's not beat around the bush. What do you want to do by coming to Chang County? Liu Qingyao sensed the aura on Kao Feng's body, but the aura was erratic. She knew that his strength was above hers, and from his words, she knew that Kao Feng should have been here for a long time. It's just to gather disciples, but Liao of the Lai family has stockpiled a lot of herbs, and we want these herbs for the beggars sect. Kao Feng said, herbs, this batch of herbs, but they have some origins, not all of them are from Liao. Hearing Kao Feng talking about herbs, Liu Qingyao said in a deep voice. Could it be that you, the county magistrate, are also involved in this matter? Kao Feng looked at Liu Qingyao and said, I'm the head of a county, how could I do such a thing? The hoarding of herbs may be done by the Lai family and the Evil Alliance. Liu Qingyao said. Evil Alliance, you mean the Evil Alliance that appeared in the capital? Kao Feng shared a lot of news about the capital, so he knew about the Evil Alliance. I didn't expect that Kao gang leader even knew about the capital. When Liu Qingyao heard Kao Feng talking about the Evil Alliance in the capital, her eyes turned. Being able to know about the capital, this beggar gang leader Kao Feng might be more complicated than she thought. There are many disciples in my beggar gang, so knowing about the capital is not a big deal. County Magistrate Liu, I came here this time just to know about the situation of the masters around Liao of the Lai family. Cao Feng said. Liao is one of the 10 most talented people in this generation of the Lai family. He should have a guard who is a master of the 8 difficulties of heaven and man. Of course, he should also have a death warrior who has been forcibly promoted to the 9 difficulties of heaven and man by medicine. Liu Qingyao stared at Cao Feng while speaking. She wanted to observe something from Cao Feng's expression. Hearing Liu Qingyao's words, Cao Feng's face did not change. The Jiangnan area is very large and rich in resources, which has created many noble families. Moreover, these noble families like to raise death warriors and use drugs to forcibly improve their strength. Of course, these people have a low lifespan because they have consumed their vitality in advance. Although their lifespan is low and they consume a lot of resources, the noble families have rich resources and do not care about such consumption. Thank you for informing me, County Magistrate Liu. Also, please don't make things difficult for the beggar gang disciples who entered the city in the near future. After the matter is completed, I will notify them to evacuate. Cao Feng clasped his fists, jumped, and flew out of the courtyard and left. Please forgive me, sir. After Cao Feng left, the 3 women in white immediately apologized to Liu Qingyao. I don't know how strong Cao Feng is, so you don't need to apologize. I just don't know how he plans to deal with Liao this time. It would be great if Liao could leave Chang County in disgrace, Liu Qingyao said. In her heart, Cao Feng could only suppress Liao at most. Outside the mansion, Cao Feng came to a restaurant opposite the Lai mansion. He asked for a jar of wine, ordered some dishes, and started drinking. There was no need to worry about Liao's strength. The only thing to worry about was Lai Hu, one of the leaders of the Lai family's secret guards. To be able to become the leader of the Lai family's secret guards, Lai Hu's strength must be extraordinary. After all, the secret guards are the Lai family's military organization that eliminates all necessary troubles. Without a certain strength, how can they help the Lai family solve troubles? Suddenly, Cao Feng's eyes moved slightly while drinking, and his eyes looked at the street not far away. There were 3 black horses galloping on the street, galloping over and stopping in front of the Lai mansion. Descending from the strange horse, the leader was a burly man, and walked like a tiger descending from the mountain. He was wearing a dark golden robe, and there was a murderous aura between his eyebrows. One is Shanren Jiunan, and 2 are Shanren Liunan. These masters in the Jiangnan region are indeed much stronger than those in the 9 counties in the north. Cao Feng looked at the 3 people entering Lai mansion and thought to himself, this is a restaurant, beggars can't enter. At this time, a voice came out at the door of the restaurant. Several beggars were leaning on bamboo sticks and were about to enter the restaurant, but were stopped by the waiter of the restaurant. These beggars had a bag on them. They were the beggar gang's 1-bag disciples, and they were also the latest disciples of the beggar gang. Being able to become a 1-bag disciple means that they know some simple kung fu. Why can't we beggars enter the restaurant? We still pay you for drinking. Do you look down on us beggars gang? One of the beggars looked at the waiter who stopped them and said, why don't you invite the guests in quickly? When the beggars talked about the beggar gang, the restaurant owner immediately said, these days, the news about the beggars gang has spread in the county city. Although it is a gang composed of beggars, it cannot withstand the large number of people. It is better not to offend them if you can. Moreover, these beggars pay for drinking, so he can't say anything. Cuckoo. Cuckoo. At this time, a figure appeared downstairs, making a cuckoo sound. Cao Feng put down the wine bowl and stepped out of the restaurant. The beggar over there walked to Cao Feng's side. Boss, Elder Lu and Elder Jin are waiting for you. The beggar walked past Cao Feng and headed forward, and Cao Feng followed closely behind. In a small courtyard, Lu Yaowei was eating roasted chicken and drinking wine. When he saw Cao Feng coming, he said, Boss, I have taken the banknotes from Mr. Lion. He wiped his clothes with his greasy hands and prepared to give the banknotes to Cao Feng. There was also an old man with a somewhat burly look beside him, with 8 bags on his body, and another elder genuine Ling with 8 bags. Salute to Cao Feng. Elder Lu, you should keep this part of the silver. Notify Elder Shine to come here. Kyle Feng said to the beggar who led him here. This beggar was one of the gang members who were selected along with them. Yes. The beggar quickly left the courtyard. Boss, you are planning to fight the Lai family directly, but our current strength against the Lai family is not likely to win. Jin Yuanling, who was standing aside, took a sip of wine and said, it seems that Elder Lu didn't tell you that we were targeted by the Lai family's secret guards. The Lai family's Li who came for our beggars gang, so it doesn't matter whether they are in the open or not. I just went to the county governor's mansion. The county government will not drive away the beggars gang disciples in the near future. In this way, we have enough manpower to transport the things we have obtained. Also, the matter of hoarding medicinal materials is something that Liao did together with the Evil Alliance. Notify the Golden Wind and Rain Tower of this news. Kyle Feng said. End of this chapter. Thank you very much for reaching the end. Don't forget to like. Looking for more exclusive content and immediate access? Subscribe to our Patreon. Remember, every like, subscription, or donation encourages us to continue. Thanks to everyone. See you in the next video.